Allow me to introduce myself. Who knows what dastardly crimes might perpetrate next? He's a very clever arch criminal who must be put away. Another innocent victim of suicidal maniac. Allow me to introduce myself. Who knows what dastardly crimes might perpetrate next? He's a very clever arch criminal who must be put away. Another innocent victim of suicidal maniac.
Wow. Wow. That's all I gotta say is wow. I mean, usually when you put up you're doing commentary on a video, but I guess because it was live, they was like, we ain't messing with you, Garfield. We ain't messing with you. Now that particular show, I was on Brother Bereen this week. I don't know which show I was on though. Was it this show? Is there quarrels among you? Was it this show? Let me see if it's this one. Right, I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find a video that Brother Bereen did this week that I was on. But hey, listen, man. This is a tough topic, and wow. That's all I gotta say is wow. Wowsy, wowsy, wows. I got a debate coming up. Team up with Israel to lobby for you. Sure, I would. I'll team up with anybody. And but since I'm on here, there's a brother that just jumped on the last show. If you want to jump on this show, jump on, and we could what's this? Stop screen. Okay. Oh, I got a couple of debates coming up with Gadal. I got a debate coming up with probably Yawasap with Rawbon. Orthodox Moors in the building. I got a debate coming up with him and Cap sometime after December 13th. I got Captain December 13th with Jonathan Sheffield on the Trinity. Is the Trinity biblical? Is the Trinity doctrine biblical? That's the name of that debate, December 13th. I got an interview. Oh, where Rawbon's at? Jump on Rawbon. I forgot to tell him something too. He just called me. As a matter of fact, let me delete that video that I just did. I need to delete it. That's what I need to do. Let me get Raw Born in here. Shut up. Hey, listen, I got you live on the air, right? I'm live. Listen, what's his name got a book that just came out. The guy that talked about Master Farad Muhammad and where the stuff come from, him and Morrow wrote a book. It's already, we can pre-order it. I'm actually going to interview him on the 16th, I think. What's the name of the book? The name of the book is I gotta put it on the screen. I'm gonna show the preview right now on the screen. Hold on. Let me get out of this right here. Let me get out of this.
You live on what channel? You want to do channel?
I'm on the Brother Garfield panel, yeah. They sent me a preview. W.D. Farad, the man, myth, and mystery behind the Nation of Islam. Matter of fact, let me share it on the screen real quick. I hope I don't get a strike because of this video now. Shit. So they got a book coming out, family, and
I don't even see that you're live, bro.
I'm live on Brother Garfield podcast.
Awesome. Stop.
Hold on a second. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I'm live.
You sure you live? Look in your chat and see if you live, bro.
I'm live, Brother Garfield podcast. I'm live. I'm right here. I'm looking at it right now.
It's crazy. I don't even see that shit, bro. It don't say it's live, bro. That's crazy.
Let me delete this. I gotta delete this live that I just did too. It's crazy.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, I was looking at the other book by Michael Muhammad Knight. I think his joint is good,
All right, so this joint here is I'm gonna show it on the screen so you could see it for yourself. Hold on there. Hey, Sword to the Destroyer. I'm gonna put the link in the chat so you could join. And all right, let me show the preview live so people could see the preview for themselves. Hold on there. All right, here's the preview right here. The book is called The Man, Myth, and Mystery Behind the Nation of Islam by John Andrew Morrow and Bilal Muhammad.
Master Farad Muhammad, a man with power to kill, a man with power to heal. He looked and saw Master Farad as he was. They were calling him prophet. What were you before the white man named you a Negro?
You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice.
Did the enemy tell y'all to fight? Farrakhan told us to unite. You don't even realize how great a people you are, that the Messiah that the whole world is looking for would come right up out of you. Master Farad Muhammad, a man with power to kill.
All right, jump on when you're ready.
Power to heal. He looked and saw Master Farad as he was. They were calling him prophet. What were you before the white man named you a Negro?
You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice.
Did the enemy tell y'all to fight? Farrakhan told us to unite. You don't even realize how great a people you are, that the Messiah that the whole world is looking for would come right up out of you.
Hey, whether we support Nation of Islam or not, that book looks like a very interesting read. I'm going to order it sometime this week, probably tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to order it. And we're going to do what we're going to do. Rob, you always on some shit, bro. Hey, what's popping?
What up, man? It was good, man. So is Marrow the one who wrote the other book, and who else?
Marrow and Bilal. Remember Bilal? Bilal Muhammad? Yeah, they wrote it together.
So what other new stuff they gonna add, bro? What you got, son?
I'm gonna support it because I mean, there's always gonna be one and two things that's new. The overall book, we already have all the stuff from the guy Michael Muhammad, and from what Bilal Muhammad talked about with the actual facts and all that stuff. So we pretty much have a lot of the stuff already.
Bro, man, it ain't no finding this dude, bro.
Ain't no finding him, but they're just talking about him. And I mean, come on, man. I mean, there's not many books. There's probably not even 10 good books about Master Farad Muhammad out there. It's probably not even 10 books. So the more the merry. So
yeah, the more the merry is dope. You know what I'm saying? It's just that when you look at them scholars, some of them they lead to the San Quentin God, because that's what Michael Muhammad Knight did. And the part in his book, he talks about the prison library. And then he talks about the Theosophical Society stuff and all that stuff being in there. And that's where, he could have got this stuff from. I don't know, bro.
all right. Sword the Destroyer. What's up? What's on your mind, brother?
Peace to everybody in the panel. Hey, what's up, Garfield? Shalom, Rock. Long time no see. Peace to Rob Warren. Shalom, brother. Garfield, you remember
call yourself Sword the Destroyer, or you go by a different name?
when I first came on your platform? My name was Yahawada, and when you see me in the back chat, you said, "Look at him, I got one right here. He's got one of those names." And I came up on the platform, right? And man, you was talking to me like Pinky off of Friday when he caught Craig in the CD shop, man. You was like, I was like, so Garfield, Deuteronomy 28:68 says, "Why do you want to become?" Shut up. Like you was really talking to me like Pinky was talking to Craig on Friday. And then I was like, Acts chapter 13 and verse 1 is calling two Jews. But he was like, that ain't what that means. We shut that down a long time ago. I'm like, damn. Right. I've come a long way since then, Garfield. I'll be in these little debates and discussions. I haven't officially come out as a debater, but I have researched a lot of stuff, not just the Israelite stuff, but obviously when you deal with brothers in Kemet and science.
Garfield made you go back and research. Can you give me my props?
Right, shalom. Peace to Garfield. I appreciate it, because I did go back and study. Now, Garfield, I'm gonna say this: the only thing I don't like about debating on YouTube is, like, for example, Wilson Armstead wrote a book, and on page 65 and 66, he talks about a dude named Ortenthal and another gentleman named Pennington talks about these black Jews that they saw in Loango in the Congo, right? And he actually said that they were originally from Judea. So this is not small hat men sleeping with black African women.
Hold on. Slow down a little bit. Who you said saw them? Who said that?
It said it's Ortenthal gave an account, and another dude named Pennington said that the Jews that he saw that settled on the coast of Africa originally from Judea were black. But Ortenthal said, let me see if I can actually quote the source. This is Wilson Armstead. A Tribute to the Negro is what it's called. It was, I believe, the date on it is 1848. It says, it is a remarkable fact in the history of Loango that, according to a statement that was, it says it is a remarkable fact in the history of Loango in the Congo that, according to a statement that was fully credited by Ortenthal himself, a most correct judge and of writer and unimpeachable veracity, said that many Jews settled in it, right? So on the next page, right, it says who retained their religious rites and customs, which made them distinctive from the other nations, right? It said those separate from the other Africans, they are black and resemble the other Africans in every sense, according to physical characteristic, right? And then it makes mention of Pennington in his book saying the Jews that settled on the coast of Africa originally from Judea were black, right? So the only thing I don't like about when I bring a source out like that is you guys just get to say it's debunked. Because I remember I brought up a sister that was a PhD scholar,
what are we
and you did that to me.
Hold on. What are we debunking though? Nobody's
So like, so
hold on. Let me respond to you. I'm a new guy, so everybody evolves to how they are. This is what I'm saying to you. So a guy wrote, right, that the Loango Jews in Africa claims that they come from Judea, or they told him that they come from Judea.
he's claiming that they come from Judea.
Okay, so he's
Right?
making it clear.
Him and Pennington.
Hold on. Pennington was not there at that time when the Loango Jews came. So he's probably going off somebody else. The issue here when you're researching this is that you're saying that Jews from Judea ended up in West Africa. In that whole area, there's some Jews called the Loango Jews. They actually ended up in Central Africa. Now, the Loango Jews actually stated where they came from. So which one is more important? What the Loango Jew says or what Pennington says? Because I'm going to slow this down now. What did the Loango Jews actually say?
To come to this conversation in good faith, I would say it's more important what they said, Garfield.
All right. So now this is important because this source that you're saying is a lot of Israelites quoted all the time and said this guy says and that guy says. I am saying I think the people themselves and their actions are more important than what a historian says about them years later. So let's take it slow a little bit. We have records in Tudor Parfit's book about hybrid hate. He speaks in detail about the Loango Jews. And the Loango Jews, from what I have read, state that some of them basically are like Sephardic Jews mixed with Africans. Some of the descendants of them mixed with Africans.
Descendant from small hat men, right?
No. I don't know if these. I don't believe in small hats or tall hats or no hats. I don't go by that. I'm saying Sephardic Jews who left out of Spain and Portugal. I think more likely out of Portugal, came down into Western Central Africa, and those are where the Loango Jews originate from. All right. If you do and I again, if you want to, I could do a whole show on the Loango Jews, and I could bring up hybrid hate right now, have it on ebook, and we could discuss what it says about the Loango Jews. I could show you what the primary says or what the sources say. But from what I know about the Loango Jews, and even if you do a simple search, a simple Google search.
Google AI.
Loango Jews in West Africa originated from where? Have AI do a little bit stuff on that. It says here, all right, so let me share the screen so you could see what I'm seeing. So there's no secrets, no secret information. All right, let's just do a simple Google search. It says the Loango Jews, a black Jewish community in West Africa, are believed, I don't know if people could see this, so let me make it bigger, are believed to have originated from a few possible sources, including the Iberian Sephardi Jews, which I mentioned, Sao Tome exile, and those migrating from Morocco and Egypt, with some potentially related to Berber Jews. While their exact origins are debated, they were documented as a distinct community in the Loango region as early as the 17th and 18th centuries. Here's some more details. Sephardi Jews. Some historical accounts suggest that the Loango Jews had Iberian Sephardi roots, possibly arriving via trade routes or as refugees. One theory posits that Jews expelled from Sao Tome, an island in the Gulf of Guinea, may have migrated to Loango, establishing a community there. I don't believe this theory, by the way, and I'm going to tell you why, because they are documented to go to the Balearic Islands, but the Sao Tome exiles are documented to go somewhere else. Berber Jews, Moroccan and Egyptian Jews, if you notice, none of them say from Judea. This is the guy that originally observed it, a Moravian missionary named George Andreas Ollendorff, about 1790.
Okay, so he was there 1790.
You're talking about Ollendorff?
No, the gentleman you're talking about.
Ollendorff
When
was born 1721. He was there late in the 1700s, yes.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, I definitely I appreciate you giving me the information. A lot of times what I would run into too, Garfield, if I'm debating that, right, and let's say I rock with them descending from the Sephardic Jews, right? The sources that I would bring that talk about Moors being Israelites, or that the Jews of Spain and Portugal were actually black too, right? I mean, because academia doesn't accept it, I feel like sometimes people don't do what you just did, though. Like, you really went into it, and now you got me thinking, let me find other sources and let me do more investigation. Like, you was actually sincere, and you didn't just say it's debunked.
You see, I'm not debunking anything. I'm just adding to the conversation. This book here, Hybrid Hate, make sure you get this book. And when you get this book, you read it's Tudor Parfit. Now, if you look at it, I mentioned this earlier, that in his book, he went into depth of the Loango Jews. He has all the sources, all the primaries. Look at what it says. In 1777, it was revealed that there were not only white Negroes and other weird, wonderful hybrids in Loango, there were also black Jews with some striking customs. This was revealed in a book by Christian George Andreas Ollendorff. The scientists of the Enlightenment were as fascinated by these black Jews as they had been by the white Negroes and other hybrids. Some, such as Theophil Ehrman, were dubious about Ollendorff's revelation, but leading Enlightenment figures such as X, Y, and Z, and others debated their importance from a racial and historical standpoint. Other black Jews were invoked by Paul Jacob Bruns. The Ethiopian Jews had been introduced to Enlightenment, who were anxious to be seen as white, were not much interested in black Jews. An exception was Ludwig Marcus, who wrote about Loango Jews and others, including the Falashas of Ethiopia. Black Indian Jews were brought into the conversation, became an important object of Enlightenment speculation about race and color determinism. The idea of a color spectrum for Jews was born. Another thing I want to add, though, with this information, right, is that in this book, you'll see that there are Jews who would be considered rabbinical Jews are called Negroes, are called black. And then what happened is we see that the Jews are being called black, and we run out and say, hey, they call the Jews black. There's a lot of sources that say Jews are black, but they don't necessarily mean black as in skin tone. Some do, but not all of them. And I think it's confusing for us years later reading this stuff and trying to figure it out. But when we read something that it says black, we jump out and feel like it's us. It's automatically us. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, here we go.
Garfield, I got a question. What does it mean when it says white Negro?
I don't know. I would have to go back and look at the context. We could just Google the term right now. White Negroes or white blacks, or I don't know. I don't know what he means.
Yeah, that's a crazy term right there. Right. But thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to definitely do more research and not just stand on it as a credible source, but really, understand it. And I appreciate that book that you showed as well, man. Thank you. I appreciate that, Garfield.
All right. No problem, brother. Anything else you want to talk about?
I'm gonna go do some more research, look at some more sources. It's a couple of PDFs. Like, I saw one with this guy that I guess he was like, I forgot what his profession was, but he was saying that the black Moors and the black Jews were two different races of black people. So I wanted to find out more about that. Let me think. I can go find it and come back and give it to you, but the brothers, I don't want to promote somebody else's platform on yours.
Yeah, bro, you could talk about anybody's platform, bro.
Right. Okay. Okay. Respect.
I wish my platform to have success. Here's to have success. It is what it is. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say the brother's platform is Prophecy 101, right? And he shows documents. He had another book called Travels in Holland, and he was showing some synagogues that had all black Jewish worshipers, is how it described it. So I'm about to mute up, but thank you so much, Garfield. I appreciate it. I'm gonna definitely do more studying and work on getting better.
All right, cool. All right.
Appreciate it.
Sabia, what's up? What's on your mind?
Peace. What up? I appreciate what you just dropped to him. It seemed like when certain people like me tell people some of the same things that you reiterated, I get called a hater, a liar, and different things. I don't know if it's because they think I have a sort of animosity toward them, or if it's they're not willing to actually listen to what I'm saying. But the one thing that I've done is when you promote scholars and you show scholarship in books and information that I think will help me better understand the construction of these belief systems and how people can attach themselves to them, I will go and do the research. And that has helped me get a better understanding of how this religion shifted and became what it is today, and how people from all over the world have attached themselves and made themselves part of the lost tribe narrative because they want to be first, they want to be chosen, special, yada, yada, yada. All I want you to do is understand that I've had with Richard Carrier and others have brought me to another level of understanding. And we not them people, plain and simple.
All right. Anybody else want to jump on the panel? Well, I'm going to be
Hey,
on
yo,
more hours.
did your boy Yahweh Pat hit you back?
Yeah. He's excited, man. So we just need to get a topic. I mean, the topic is there, but we just need a date.
So Yahweh Pat said he picked his African place.
No, I don't know if he's picked his African spot, but y'all figure that out.
Yahweh Pat.
Oh boy, I tell you, a piece of work, y'all. Let me hurry up and delete this video too.
No Kemet, no Pan-Africanism. Feathers up.
Feathers up, yo. You funny as hell. Where is this studio? I gotta go to the YouTube studio. All right, YouTube studio.
Why do you say that, where I'm born? Why do you say no Kemet, no Pan-Africanism? Explain that.
It's too inclusive. Anything that's all inclusive that deals with panism is a failure. It's too inclusive. It's no good. And then the face of Pan-Africanism has went down. He is the face of Pan-Africanism. If you don't like it or not, it's not true. There's real Pan-Af. We don't know them. You don't know. We know Umar Johnson is the face of Pan-Africanism, bro. And that's a wrap. That's what the kids are going to think about. They ain't thinking about no Marcus Garvey, none of that. They died. So it's over, my dude. And then his feathers up, you heard?
Who made him the face of Pan-Africanism?
He did. And the black people did. We see him on the Breakfast Club and all over the place. You have to understand when Danny tells you about the power of popular culture, bro. He is the face of Pan-Africanism. He's the face.
Trust me, I totally do. I totally understand the power of popular culture and all that. But because you say it, don't mean it's true.
Listen, it doesn't matter, brother. He is the face of Pan-Africanism, bro. And y'all gotta hold that L. You heard? Hold that L.
He's the performer of Pan-Africanism. He's not the face of shit.
All right. So
Pan-Africanism
name
don't need no
someone.
leader.
Name me a person, not nobody from the 70s and 60s. Name somebody right now that's popular that kids and youth know who this person is. Name them.
What do you mean?
Name a Pan-African activist right in this century that everybody knows. That's popular amongst black people.
I'm not. I don't know.
Exactly. Umar Johnson was the face, and you're done. It's over. Kick rocks.
He's he, he's a he's a voice. He's nothing. He's a performer. That's it.
You're having a hard time. All I need is one person, bro. Give me a person that promotes Pan-Africanism with the voice that is known.
Me.
Nobody knows you. Like me. They don't know me neither. They don't know
They know
Garfield.
me.
They don't know
They
that.
know me.
No, man,
They
we
know
talking about
Garfield.
people who are not even conscious, bro. That's not interested. They just, oh, this black. Let me look at it. Boom. Like people who watch Tariq videos or his Hidden Colors. They not. Let me go do the research. Nah, they just looking at it. No different than people who go to church. They ain't trying to break down the Canaanites. They just there to hear somebody talk about God and how it fits. Take a passage of how it fit their life, and they go on their way. Those are the people. That's the majority of the masses. That's the 85%, brother.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. But I don't agree with you. So if he's your face, he's your face. But he's not the face of no Pan-Africanism, anything to
He,
me.
he
He's
is,
just
he is, he
another
is.
voice.
Sabio, whether we want to agree or not, the beauty of Umar Johnson and Tariq. Let me just say this: a lot of people gonna hate me for this. Is that both of them got popular and they weren't attached to the Abrahamic faith. That's what was unique about Umar and Tariq. That's why they attracted a lot of people who don't follow the Bible. Even people who follow the Bible would listen to Umar. They sound good. They teach a pro-black stance with a mixture of integrationism. So, but they never really were separatists, but they were anti-white, they were anti-religion, and they talked about the white man God and all that stuff that stir up emotions. And I think both of them, and I've been in this country since the early 2000s, right? Since 1989, I was going back and forth from Jamaica to here, and I started living here in the 90s, right? Now, let me say this. Out of all the people that's popular, social media popular, even before social media blew up, Umar was that voice. But once YouTube started getting effective, he went on Sarnetta, he blew up. Tariq Nasheed actually, in my opinion, took all of Sarnetta's stilo, as they say in the streets, and made it. He's what Sarnetta should have been, because he's basically using the internet to make videos and movies about what Sarnetta had on his channel. That's pretty much what Tariq did. Then what happened is when they had the what was it, the Mississippi 6 or the New Orleans 6 or whatever, that's when Tariq blew up totally, because he was out there marching with the guy from that was at WBLS. I forgot his name right now. Michael, whatever his name is. And all of them was like a new movement saying, hey, this is the new wave of the civil rights or human rights movement. And Tariq was out there in the streets. And that's when he started getting a lot of credibility as far as his street cred or his Pan-African cred. And he was teaching Pan-Africanism. That's what he was teaching before he went into this whole anti-immigrant stance. But I'm saying those two have been the biggest non-Abrahamic faith guys that have been the most popular in the United States of America.
And that may be true, but that doesn't mean that they're the face of anything, because they've been the most popular.
So who is the face then? Active, you gotta have a face.
That's hold on. That's only because they've been able to do what? Get their voices heard and get their faces shown. If other people who had better agendas, who had better ideologies and better motives were exposed to the mediums that they were exposed to and able to put themselves in front of to get their message out, it would have been different. It would have been different people. So just because, and their message hasn't been effective, it's been ineffective.
How
They've
do
created more.
you rate? Nah, Savior. Listen,
Yeah.
not because we don't like them. We got to give people their props. Whether
No, I
they're
give them their
talking,
props, but they're
you got
being
to give them their
ineffective.
props. You said, what have they? This is what
They're
I heard a
locked
guy
in.
said the other day, right? Somebody jumped out the window and said Malcolm X was a great leader. So the guy Saint, I don't know if y'all ever watch his YouTube, Saint, he asked the guy, he said, give me 3 leaders or people that come out of the Malcolm X school of thought that you could name. The guy couldn't name 3. He said, give me 2. The guy couldn't name 2. He said, give me 1. The guy couldn't read 1. So how you rate people, you could tell a fruit by the tree, you could tell a tree by the fruit it bears. Who is, what you should say is who is under Umar? Who has Umar produced? Who has Tariq Nasheed produced? Who is the junior Tariq? Who is the junior Umar? That's how you tell leadership. With Elijah Muhammad, whether we agree with his stance or not, this man has produced the biggest leaders in the 20th century and the 21st century for black people. He's produced Farrakhan, he's produced Malcolm X, he's produced Muhammad Ali, he's produced Khalid Abdul Muhammad, who is a son coming out under Farrakhan. He has produced the greatest leaders. As much as we don't even like Risa Islam, you might not like him, but he's from the tree of Elijah Muhammad.
Right.
That's what he has produced, whether we agree with what they say or not.
Clarence
Who has
13X,
these
Clarence
Umar?
13, Clarence the father.
I apologize, bro. Clarence 13X, who's one of the most influential men in the 20th century, 21st, because the God bodies are still patrolling and they're still out there doing the work. Who have you produced to say, hey, this is how you rank a leader? That's how you rank
in Malcolm, in Malcolm case, like,
yeah, he wasn't around that long, right?
the two people that he, like, his followers would be the people who found the brothers who founded the Republic of New Africa. They was his autobiography, or his auto files, you could say. They the ones who recorded all of that, some speeches when he was leaving and traveling outside of the country. So they made something called the Malcolm X Doctrine. So when they make the Malcolm X doctrine, that then leads into the Republic of New Africa, where they saying we want to. So that's right there. When you look at the Black Panthers, they are influenced by Malcolm X.
Facts.
So these are the, and then now we can't say nothing about that. But there's nothing we could do, because now it gets to the point where they like the action part of what Malcolm X is saying and what he's trying to do while he's going to Africa, and they tried to emulate that. So those people didn't just know that. The Republic of Africa, I mean, a lot of people don't know about the Republic of New Africa, but if you're talking about reparations and the shit that you fighting for, that's where it came from. Well, it didn't come from that per se, but in that 70s, in that area, that's them. And they basically called it the Malcolm X Doctrine. They got a whole book on it. You can pull it up. You can just put Malcolm X Doctrine. Boom. Shit pop up. So the reparations cause that you see right now, you can put it, you can say, Malcolm influenced that. You know what I mean?
Hey,
But at the end of the day, Sabio, it's sort of like watching boxing. When you ask, yo, who's the face of boxing? And then you're gonna come up with 2 names. You're gonna say Tank and Canelo. Why are they the face? And you got Terrence Crawford. You got all these other people fighting. We know about them, but you not the people's favorite. When it comes to this Pan-Africanism thing, when you looking at black social media, black Twitter, all of those little clips, Black Queen, Snow Bunnies, never, who's making those videos? Who's those 2 little black sisters that be on there talking like him and all of that? Those are the kids that's watching them. They not going into no deep this, that. They know him. When you say Pan-Africanism, I'm sorry to tell you, he's the face. We are in the 4th industrial age, brother. He is the face.
Yeah, we can't get around it. Hey, let me get this, sister. Amberize your world. Obviously, you're possibly a part of the Hebrew Israelite movement. I think Savior had said we are not the people who are. That's one of the things that we get trapped in with that conversation, is that I don't think the folks in Israel or anybody who is a Jew per se, as far as being an ancient Israelite of the biblical text. I don't think anybody can be. I think that's a book that's it's a theological, political book. that was compiled together around the Hellenistic time period. And I think no one can be the people per se. Now, as far as Jews, that's a different conversation, because from the Maccabean period, we have seen Judaism being practiced in that area. And in fact, I'm going to put a challenge out to all Bible believers. I am from the school of thought of Jonathan Adler. Can you provide evidence that anyone in Judea from 1000 BC all the way to 2000 BC, that anybody was adhering to a Torah, meaning practicing the laws, not eating pork, following dietary laws, following temple laws, following whatever laws you want to talk about? I'm saying that the people in Judea knew nothing about a Torah law, societal wise, are widespread in Judea. Now, as far as northern Israel, we're going to have that debate later on. But this is my challenge to all the camps. If you're saying you are from the tribe of Judah, show and prove Judah was practicing any form of Torah. Torah is the first 5 books. Show us they were practicing Sabbath, Passover, temple laws, and all that stuff. Even in the Bible, in Kings, it talks about them having like a bordello. A bordello is like a whorehouse in Babylon. There were whores, male prostitutes who are homosexuals. In 2 Kings 23:7, it talks about them in the Bible. So this is the lifestyle they were living. So when did they start practicing Torah in the Bible? We find evidence of this. Evidence, and I'll say loud and clear. So my brother, all the Israelites, I'm talking to all of them, all the clubhouse Israelites, all the street corner Israelites, all the people that follow Torah, and you claim you're from the tribe of Judah. Show and prove Judah was practicing any of this. As a matter of fact, show and prove Judah was a part of Israel before the 2nd century BC. Show and prove that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
This is what I see everybody talking with their chest out all the time, right? And say, I'm this, I'm that, and we the people. How can you be the people when you don't even know the culture and the history of the area that you say the people come from? Right. My brother, Divine Prospect, I would love to have this debate with him. Show and prove that the Northern Kingdom was practicing Torah. I want to have that debate. Because he talk about pre-exilic Israelites, right?
Why the Bible began.
Show and prove why these people have a Torah today. This is why the African Israelites make no sense, because there was no Torah or no laws widespread for us to travel and carry those laws, statutes, and commandments with you. So when you are practicing Torah today and say, hey, this came from such a... No, it came from trade. It came from the merchants. It came from interactions with Jews who were traders, or Berber Jews who were trying to practice the religion.
Niggas need to listen.
I want all the smoke. This is why WOW is, because YouTube shut down my show about Israel. That's why the show is called WOW, for those who want to know. But since I'm here, I'm challenging all Israelites. It's time to show and prove. It's time. It's the time of judgment. All these debates, sometimes I watch debates to hear new arguments. I don't do theological debates unless it's something about an era or a prophecy. I don't really go into the Bible like that. I deal with the history. This is why most Israelites listen to me, but they don't comment. They'll text me later and say, yo, I saw this. I didn't know that. I text me, da-da-da-da. There is no, you see, once I put it, and by the way, let me give a shout out to Priest Daniela, because we are going to have a historical debate. I'm trying to set it up for Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, because those are days that my Hebrew Israelite brothers, they don't celebrate, and they are normally home. They don't celebrate Christmas. So Christmas Eve, they're home, or even Christmas Day. So I want to set up a debate. I'm also going to run ads. It's going to be free, but I want this to be a very popular debate. I want thousands in the audience watching this. I want them to watch Priest Daniela beat the hell out of Garfield. I want him to watch him beat me up and tear me apart and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, too, a week before the debate, I'm too old to be talking about.
Yo.
I'm too old to talk about pause. The hell with y'all pause. But I'm gonna give the brother all my sources before the debate. I'm gonna give him all the sources I'm using before the debate. He could review them, whatever. This King James is black debate is important for a lot of people. And Garfield is a doctrine shifter. That means when I come with something, you're gonna stop teaching it. So it's either if I don't beat him up to the point where he got to stop teaching it, I didn't do my job. I didn't do my job. That's all I'm gonna say.
But yeah, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about when God spoke?
Hold on. Let me deal with my brother right here. The Bible tells us, so he's going back to the witness. You don't know when that was written, when it was rewritten, and you don't know if somebody edited it, but you're gonna go by that book. That's not a witness. Of course, the Bible is gonna tell you that, because the purpose of the Bible is to tell you who you are, who, what, where, why, and how. How did you get to the point where in 2nd century BC you are now ruling all of Israel and Moab and Edom and Iturea? How did you get to that point, my brother Jeremiah? You got to that point because God had punished you for not following his laws, but the laws weren't there. They're saying that in the book by rewriting stories. You don't know because you have no primary source. You don't know when the book of Ezekiel was written. You don't know when none of these books are written. So you're basing it on faith. I'm not here to argue faith. Show and prove. Show within the culture. Show us the bones of what they were eating. Show us there's no pork in this area. Show us there's no Judean pillar figurine, which I call the Asherah dolls, the voodoo dolls. That's what I call them. So you're saying it's silly, but you're silly for believing in something that you can't prove. I'll leave it right there, since it's silly.
Garfield, all right, question real quick. All right. So to prove like the bones, right, of areas that didn't have pork, you would have to go into anthropology to do that?
Good question. Yes, you got to go into anthropology, but mainly archaeology, because what archaeology is doing is they're digging up. We know for sure Ezra, and who believes Ezra existed? Nobody knows Ezra existed. You said we know for sure Ezra. Come show and prove Ezra. I stopped teaching on the internet right now. Come on the panel and show and prove Ezra existed. Watch this, family. Watch his comment. Watch his next comment. There's no Israelite out there that can debate me because I know what it is. It's all.
I got to keep it 100 with you. I got faith that it's all true, OG, everything. We the real Israelites. I got to be honest with you. but obviously certain things I read too. Right, but I'm going to keep it real with you on that one.
Israelite laws are Egyptian laws. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. That's a blanket statement. No, I cannot agree with that. You see, that's another thing. It's hard to debate me because I don't have a strong Kemetic stance on the Bible. They're used to guys who say, oh, they stole this from the Bible, they stole that. Come on, bring that smoke so I could smoke you out. And I got to give Priest Daniel a shout out too, because I actually literally studied this King James thing. I don't know everything, but boy, oh boy, I know a lot right now. And I feel I am ready for this debate. There's two things I got to do. I got to go to Scotland and get this primary in Scotland, but I can't go by myself because Scotland is a very not too friendly towards my skin tone.
It's racist. It's a racist
cap.
I'm not going to say racist.
That's cap, Garfield. Why you lying?
I'm not going to say racist, but they're not too friendly to my skin tone. But
yeah,
you know, I'm waiting for
really
Riggs.
Don't like art.
I'm gonna go with Riggs, but Riggs is like, he want to go to Scotland, and So that means I have to go there with like 10 people, 10, 20 people. We got to go in a group, like a group tour, and then do what I got to do, because there's some primaries there that's very, very important with this debate.
Yo, I got a question for the audience, man. So all the Hebrews in the audience, you know what I'm saying? Yo, did y'all ever participate in Black August, bro? Just want to know. Are y'all part of that? I just want to know, you know what I'm saying? That's all.
Hey, look, by the way, Jeremiah David Ben Yakanan, I could tell you're not a great debater. I'm not a great debater. I'm a good debater, but I'm not a great debater. We know for sure Ezra, and it's easily proven. Look at his response. Laugh out loud, prove you're great. It's like the Israelites have a playbook or a handbook, like if he says this, say this. They all do the same thing. Prove your great-great-grandfather existed, Garfield. Where's the bone? But you know for sure because you exist. No, beloved. It's like, let's look at it. Let's look at what you're saying carefully for a second. Let's look at what he's saying. Because a lot of people say a lot of things, but I don't
He got to
think...
get on he got to get on the panel, man. We don't understand. You know how to pronounce that name, Garfield? What is that name? Yamanau, Yamadau.
Jeremiah, Yahoo,
Yamanadui, whatever that shit is. Your mama ain't named you that shit. Hey, yo, come up here, bro. I'm on the panel, bro.
Your mama is... Your
I'm on the panel, bro.
Mama call you Clay, I'm gonna call you Clay. Your mama call you Clay, I'm gonna call you.
Told that nigga pick your name out of his bag.
Okay, Ben Yakanan. I know the Ben means son. Yakanan. David. That be.
You can't beat that neither, bro. What's the first name?
Yeah, that first one on Chief. I gotta keep it 100.
Yo, so
But
we
I
don't know
know.
what that is, man. So he a different kind of Hebrew, bro. We don't even know what that is. So you must got some new shit here, bro.
All right, let me do this for the family.
I guess it's supposed to be Jeremiah, David.
Yeah, I think it is Jeremiah.
Governor, I'm live.
Jeremiah.
Hold on, guys. I'm live, but you could talk. I'm live on YouTube. But what's up?
Okay.
My bad. I wanted to see if you could tap me in with the dog. I wanted to see if you want to discuss a little topic with me.
Okay, all right. I'll set that up today. I got you.
My man, send me the link. I'm gonna come in your space.
All right, cool. All right, I got you. I will not be sending the link. Not that guy.
Who's that?
Governor from Clubhouse. Governor from Clubhouse. All right. He said, Garfield, you know your great grandma. Yeah, I know my great grandfather exists. I'm into that genealogy stuff, so that's easy. This is the question I gotta ask. Romulus is the progenitor of the Romans, so that means the word Rome that we use come from Romulus. Ladies and gentlemen that's watching, Romulus is not real.
Nope.
But you'll have kings and people who write about him like he's real. It's the same thing with the Hellenes, the Hellenistic Greeks. They go back to Hellenes. Hellenes is not real. But they write at times like he's real, but they know ultimately he's not a real person. It's called an eponymous ancestor. Ashur is the progenitor of the Assyrians. It's a deity. But you as an outsider would say, Ashur is not a real God. Only my God is a real God, the Most High. The next step, Perseus is the progenitor of the Persians. Not real. But they all come from Perseus. Medas is the progenitor, the eponymous ancestor of the Medes. Not real. The Israelites, in writing their history, studied their surroundings. This is why they have similar stories to Assyrians, similar story to Greeks, similar stories to Romulus and the Romans, similar story to the Persians, similar stories of the Medes. Now watch this, family. Jacob or Israel is the progenitor of the Israelites. Is Jacob real? Jacob is not real. He's considered to be an eponymous ancestor that's not real. So when the sister asks, who are the people? If the person, the progenitor is not real, that means you can't come from a progenitor that's not real. You're no different than all the other cultures. Romulus with the Romans. It's the same type of, what do you call it? Genre. That's the right word. The same type of genre that they have in the ancient Near East. That's all the Bible writers were doing.
The link,
they weren't writing for you to copy them 3,000 years later and be them. They weren't writing to do that. But you now in the 2025 is arguing that the white folks are fake and you are real when neither y'all are real. I don't get it. What is the fight? Now there are Jews that are real Jews that stem from Jews. That's a whole different conversation. from 2nd century BC, they could trace their roots through what's called the rabbinical eras. So you have the Zugat period, you have the Tananaean period, you have the Amorian period. They are well documented. This is why Jews are the most well documented people in history. What am I named? The Catalan Atlas from the Majorcan people, Balearic Islands. They come from. What do they document? They document where the Jews are, the merchants are Jews are practicing some economic venture, and they know where they are all over the world. Where is black folks? Where are you in that? You are just not the people. And if you want to use DNA, just because you have a DNA from an area, don't necessarily mean that you're connected to the people. Because Jews, Sephardic Jews, were free in the Caribbeans. They were free to practice wherever the British were, not where the Spanish were or the Portuguese. Where the British were, they were able to practice freely. This is why in Jamaica we speak English, because the Jews at that time supported the British in invading and taking over from the Spanish, because the Spanish were persecuting them in Jamaica. So since 1655, Jews have been free to practice their religion of Judaism or version of Judaism in that island where I am from. Sean Paul, just give me the light. His father's lineage goes back to slavery, Henriquez. But they docked in Jamaica because guess what? You can practice their religion freely. And you go to Scotland, you go to Curacao, you go to all these little islands, you see synagogues being built from the 1600s, the 1700s. Who is building them? You? No. These are people that's practicing Ashkenazi Jews and Sephardic Jews. As a matter of fact, the synagogue in Jamaica is the only synagogue actually today. Farrakhan speaking a synagogue, by the way, the one in Jamaica. And guess why? His father was a Sephardic Jew or an Ashkenazi Jew, so he was allowed to speak in the temple in Jamaica. But that temple in Jamaica merged Ashkenazi and Sephardics together, which is very rare. They merge them together. So if you're telling me that you are the people, it seems like the people that made you know what Judaism is the people that you claim that you hate, which is you call them small hats and all these names. But you would not know Judaism if it wasn't for them. Because through the rabbinical eras, they were able to centralize in Babylon to the point where you have Africans who converted, writing to Babylon. How do we practice X, Y, and Z? How do we do this? How do we do that? We have records. You think my research is simple? I got records. Look at this guy. They were all originally black. How do you know this?
This nigga crazy.
How do you, and when we ask him for proof?
Garfield.
No, it ain't
Garfield. Garfield. Are you?
Hold on.
Hello.
There is no such
Hello?
thing as black or white Jews. It don't.
Hello?
You made that up. A Jew can be any color. They could be brown skin. There's no black and white in the past. Race is a modern day subject. Race is a modern day concept. I don't think a lot of people realize what that means. That means there weren't anybody in the 1500s writing that, oh, this black race over here, or these white people over here. There's no such thing. It don't exist. So when you said were the Jews black or white, I don't have a position. I said that they can be any skin tone, light to dark. They could look like my buddy right here. See my buddy right here, usual Sephardic Jew. They could look like him. They could look like, who else picture is on the stage? My brother, Truth Story has this brother right here. It could be this guy's skin tone. It could be any skin tone. Let's stop playing games. There could be Garfield's skin tone. Look at Garfield. He's a good-looking guy. He's a fairly good-looking guy with a nice skin tone. Look at that. That's that 3.9% Ashkenazi Jew in me. See that? Yo.
Garfield, you're terrible, man. Hey, let me ask you a question. Your ass is terrible. Garfield, suffering you is worse than suffering goddamn Dr. Ben. Well, your ass is terrible.
What's up, brother?
Yeah, I know he worse than me.
No, you ain't shit, Sabio. I actually watched you 2 days ago, Sabio, for real. So I haven't heard your little comments, but I watched you a few days ago. For real.
Stop
But
talking.
anyway, back to what I was saying. Garfield, are you familiar with the synagogue that's in Morocco?
Yes, there's a couple of synagogues in Morocco, not just one.
Are you familiar with the one that has the pictures of the Muslims and Jews? Not like recent. I don't know if it's around the 1600s. It might be, but it's a picture of the Jews that was in there, and most of the pictures in there show Jews that do look like.
Before you mention stuff, are you able to show us?
Right.
You see, this is the big.
I would have to go there.
Let's not talk about it then, because there's a guy in the audience. This guy right here. True, but the original Yahudian were black. Do you understand descendancy? I don't know if the true Jews were black. I have no idea. I don't know what skin tone. Do we have images? Do we have pictures? What do we have? We have some stuff for the Jews. I mean, if you want to say these are the Jews right here, hold on, I could show this on the screen. You know, we could play this color game. Let's play this color game for a minute. I could show this. Let me show this right here. This is 8th century BC. Hold on, where is this at? Boom, 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 boom. I could show this. I could show these guys. You want me to show these guys? That's the woman. We can't tell. We don't know what skin tone they have. We only have the coloring, the image on the wall that's painting in Sennacherib annals at 701 BC. So this is what they look like. Their phenotypes. We could see their phenotypes. We don't know what their skin tone is. Well, I and the historical record said they're black. Now, this guy here, I'm going to block him temporarily because this is a lie. Well, I and the historical record said they're black. What historical record? Right. No historical record says that. He just made it up. He just made it up out the blue.
That's mythology. That's been a mythomaniac.
Why this? Hold on. This sister is asking a very good question. Amber Eyes, I like you. I like you, sis. You're asking a very intelligent question. If the widest variety of DNA is in black people, then you can say the person that may look like you may not be you. All right. Well, that question, I don't know what you mean exactly. I don't know what you mean exactly. Sister Mika.
Hey, yo, what's that shit they got on their head, bro?
Rob, hold on. Sister Mika just got hit by the Most High, so I want to see how she get out.
No, I'm listening now. I'm listening.
Okay, go ahead, Rob.
What's that? That's an ancient bonnet, my nigga. What's that on their head, bro?
Damn.
Yo, that's what they wear when the sisters when they hear not done. This is what they wear on their head.
Yo, what is that, bro? Is that an ancient bonnet, bro?
Listen, bro. I have no clue. I have no idea.
That's the ancient do-rag and bonnet that they got on.
This is females.
Yo,
let's look further. Let's look further. Hold on. Let's look further. This is them again, brother. This is them right here. This is what they look like. I don't know if this is.
Hold on, son. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Is that their hair that's going all the way down there, or that's a thing on their head?
That's a thing. I think that's a thing on their head.
Oh, okay. Them some ugly motherfuckers, man.
Oh man,
it's artwork. Yeah, yeah.
Look at this right here with the babies and everything, and this is just images that the Assyrians drew. But I'm trying to figure out, we are these people, though. We are these people. We are these people, man. This is us. This is us. Yep. And these women are living to be 800 years old, 900 years old. These are wonderful women, man.
So my question is, why are these people not considered Africans?
No, they're not considered African. African is later.
Right. Why in the annals of Sennacherib, he's not writing about these people coming from a place in Africa?
Oh, and by the way, the brother mentioned something important earlier too. I don't know why you're bringing up Africa right now. I don't get the context of that, beloved.
Because if these people are African, wouldn't he have to be conquering a place on Africa?
Yeah, but they didn't have Africa.
Hold on, Mika, hold on.
Okay.
Wouldn't Sennacherib and them know about Egypt and all that?
Yeah, he did invade Egypt too, but not Egypt. He invaded Nubia. He went after the Nubians.
Nubia, right? So wouldn't they know about other places on the continent of Africa?
But who are you talking about? I don't know. I don't get what you're saying.
The Assyrians.
Yeah, they knew about Kush. They knew about Kush, which is Ethiopia, which is Nubia. Yeah, they knew about there. They knew about Egypt. They controlled Egypt.
Cool. So
You got all Danny newspaper clippings in there. I saw that shit.
Get out of here, man. Mind your business.
Saw that shit.
Shut up. Somebody mute his mic. Mute his mic.
That Danny fucking clips in there.
Why didn't they describe those people as people from Egypt? Why didn't they call them Egyptians, Nubians, Ethiopians, or anything like that if they were African?
I don't get what
you're saying. Why didn't they depict them?
Nah, because somebody could make the argument that everybody came out of Africa, that continent. So I don't know if what you're saying.
No. Please don't try to make that argument. It doesn't fit for what I'm
yeah, because we know everything.
Garfield,
Africa.
What's the oldest name of Africa? What was it called? What's the oldest name they know of?
We're not going there. The oldest name, to be honest with you, was Libya. Herodotus called it Libya. That's the oldest name that I know.
Man, you stop capping, man. The Super Black Power Bible said it was.
If you say Al-Qaeda, I'm gonna kick you off the show. I'm gonna kick you off the show.
Stick with the Super Black Power.
You violate right now. You violate.
Stick with the Pan-African theology, man.
He's stupid.
He said if you say Al-Qaeda line, I'm gonna kick you off the panel. Oh my goodness.
That's what the Pan-Africans say.
Right. They did know the whole continent. Right. So how would they just going to name what they knew?
These are the Jews, images of the Jews in England around 1233 AD, almost 60 years before Jewish expulsion. So these Jews in the 13th century, this is what they look like.
Long nose.
I'm not making this up. This is on the walls. It's upper margin of the Exchequer receipt roll, Hillary and Easter terms, 1233 AD. So this is what they're depicted as. I'm just gonna leave it right there. Now he said about the Moors, right, and how people on the walls, right. We're gonna get to that right now. This is how the Jews were pictured on what is it called? That stuff in the 3rd century. This is what Jesus depicted. This is 235 Dura Europos right here. These are the Syriac Jews. This is how they look like. Because we have a problem with color. Like color is an issue. They could be this light. They could be dark. They have different colors. See, look at this color right here on the right-hand side. This is 4th century. Y'all talk about the guy changed Jesus' picture to white. This is 4th century AD. Right here on the right-hand side. That's how it looked.
Yo,
That's
man, I think the name speaks for itself. Israelite. You got to be light. Israelite.
Jewish.
It's crazy. These are depictions. You can't get around the depictions at all. And I'm not saying he's white or black. I'm not saying anything. This is 1600s.
You know,
this is Boxwood. This is Boxwood, what they said they look like. Look at this. Look at this skin tone right here. And look at the tone of the people at Dura Europos right here. Remember they said they look like Boxwoods? Look at this skin tone right here. And look at what the Jews said in the 1st century. Rabbi Ishmael. Are like the children of Israel, may I be atonement for them, are like boxwood, neither black nor white, but an intermediate shade. What is this? What is this? This is an intermediate shade. And what is this? What is boxwood? Right here. I'm not saying that. So when people say that they're black, I mean, yeah, in the sense of the one-drop rule, they probably could be black. I mean, Dura Europos, here's Dura Europos again. I'm not saying that they're white. I'm not saying that they're European. I'm not saying that. Nobody's saying that. I've never heard anyone say the Jews are Europeans as far as white people. I've never heard anyone ever say that in my life. The only people who are pushing that, people are saying that, are the black Hebrew Israelites. It's just like with the stuff about the ancient Egyptians being white or Europeans. Nobody in academia is pushing that. But the people who are Egyptomaniacs are saying, oh, they wanted to feel like they're white. Who is saying that? So they're presenting a boogeyman. It's always the white man. He's just the boogeyman for everybody.
Yo, you got a picture of the last Sheesh release with the people that look like they got dreadlocks? That might be your people, bro. That might be you, brother.
Last Sheesh release, I just showed that.
No, the other one. There's another one with dude where he got like dreads or some shit. You don't got that one? Oh, that's my favorite picture right there.
Who is the Israelite? Who is the black Hebrew Israelite in this picture?
My nigga with the red polo jacket on and the white hat.
Euro Europas, right here. Lighter skin, scene of Moses rescued from the river. Oh man, do you see here? Here's a darker skin tone right here. Syrians.
Swarthy, there you go.
Wait. Go back to that picture right there.
That has Swarthy in it too.
Go back to that picture, bro.
Right
Hold
there.
on, you moving too fast now.
Go back to the
right there.
one.
Right there. Hold on. Leave that right there. I need that one. Let me screenshot that shit. Hold on. Yeah.
Swarthy, there you go, right there.
That look like me, bro. That's me.
Facts. What about this Negro right here? The Negro type. Right here.
I don't know. That other dude is a mulatto, bro.
Right here, Negro type. Is he in Europe?
Yeah,
where's the brother on the stage? Is he still on the stage?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Look at this. This says they're Negro type in Europe. Right here.
Like around the 1600s?
Yeah, right here. Right here. Look at that. Look at that closer. Look at it closer. Your dark Negroid features.
I see it.
That's
you, my brother. Aren't you dark?
But Garfield, but Garfield, can't somebody have can't somebody have a phenotype that's like yours, for example, right? And still descend from the same Y chromosome haplogroup as somebody with this type of phenotype that we're looking at?
Bro, I got 3.9% Ashkenazi, man. I'm living through that right now.
What's your Y though? What's your haplogroup? You got the E1B1A?
I don't care what I have. I just care about the 3.9% Ashkenazi.
Oh, that ain't right, God. No, because somebody could look like a Negro and have E1B1A, but somebody could also.
Look at this Sephardic Jew right here. This is for my man, Brother Law. Look at this guy right here on the right hand side.
Bro, you gotta update your terms, bro.
Dark, they're noted for their dark complexion, having dark hair and eyes. Look at these guys on the right. These are the Negroid types, man. Y'all dark complexion, man. This is y'all, man. Y'all peoples. Don't run from them. Look at this guy right here. Swarthy Walt Whitman, Gandalf the Grey. Look at this guy. Oh man, I'm loving this right
Priest,
here.
you watching this?
Swarthy people.
I'm loving this right here. Look at these Jews in the Caribbean.
Swarthy.
They look like Algerian Jews. They look like the Persian Jews. Have you ever seen the Persian Jews? This is what they look like. See? Look at them right here.
They all
Euro-African Jewish family. White father, mulatto mother, Suriname. Look at that. Woo! Woo! Look at this. Oh, man. I'm not even going to go into Joe F. Nassi. I'm not even going to get into him. I'm going to leave him alone. Here goes Rob on favorite book right here. Igbo in the Atlantic World. That's his favorite book. Bam, ba, ba, bam, ba, bam, ba, bam, bam. See, they say the indigenous Americans are Israelites and they got plates in their lip. But when the Africans do it, oh, look what the Africans doing. They got plate in their lips. Look at what they're doing. Native Americans do it too, brother. But you said they're Israelites. So what's wrong with the Africans doing it?
The Native Americans stole it from the Africans.
They ain't steal nothing. They ain't steal a damn thing.
I don't know who those people are, bro. That ain't my people, man.
Damn.
They're my peoples. I don't care. I claim all of them.
They not from West
Remember when
Africa.
they was arguing this, that this is Hebrew? You notice you don't hear them say it no more, Mika? Why they don't say it no more? Why they don't say that this is Hebrew, the Nazarian stones? Why they don't say it no more? Yo, where Katazat?
Katazat is running.
Yo, where they at, yo? Where they at? I thought this was all Hebrew and all that stuff. Come on, man. This is actually Hebrew on this stone, so I'm not even going to deny that part. But this other stone right here, the guy copied from this book, this Freemasonry book, man, word for word, man, and put it down or write it down, and have people talking about, oh, they found Hebrew in America. These people are crazy out here, man. All you need to do is read 2 chapters of a book, man. And you could solve this whole issue with these Israelites.
Yo, son, don't front, bro. That ancient art of the Levant and Israel, that should be looking suspect like crazy, you heard?
Which one?
All that Sumerian shit and the way they be drawing them fucking people and them and even that shit that we looking at is crazy, bro. Africa art is more John Blaze, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
I should be looking crazy. They be having fucking lapis lazuli in their nipples and shit. The fuck?
Lapis
Those
lazuli.
big ass. Why was they drawing them with them big ass eyes, bro?
Oh, the what you call it? This right here, they love this Yah. Oh, we got Yah in the documents. Yah, Naya Moli. They got Enya. They was on the slave ships. 1821, bruh. They didn't even come to America. Oh, this is what I was looking for. These are pictures of Jews in Europe. So this one right here.
Well, I'm about to get out of here, man. I think you killed the whole thing, bro. I don't even know there's no more conversation. Bro, Abraham is fake. Ain't no
Fact.
fucking Moses. Ain't no Israel. Those ain't real people. If those ain't real people, that means that you're following the people who made up the lie, bro. Who made up the myth. So if you believe in the myth and you want to follow it, then you a Jew. That's it. Ain't no bloodline, bro. You don't got no bloodline. And stop saying bloodline when we got the science to trace blood back. Don't say that no more. You are you are the product of the dream. Just like the people who founded the Black Hebrews in America. That dude told y'all that God came and talked to him in a dream, bro, and told him that we the nigga brews. And that's why you exist today.
We the nigga bros. That shit is funny.
Nobody was teaching Deuteronomy 28 in West Africa. You ain't find that shit till you came to America, bro. Nobody was teaching that in Jamaica, South America, nowhere else. It happened right here amongst the Negro in America. We made
Yep.
that shit
Mika,
up.
see your family on the
They
screen.
said 1960 something.
Mika
Yo, what's
family.
that? That's
Mika
the mans
family.
in them.
Mika family, man. That's
That's
Mika
the
family.
mans in them.
That's
That
Mika
person looked
family.
like his name is Garfield. Right there. Go back.
Facts.
Go back.
Facts.
Go back.
Facts.
Right
Facts.
there. The
Facts.
person on the right looked like Garfield. That's
Facts.
the Garfield.
Facts. All facts.
His name looked like Garfield.
NOI days. NOI days. No beard, nothing. Facts.
So who are these people? Indians?
Hey. Hey. Oh, man. Limba. Oh, I ain't gonna drop that Billy Simmons yet. I ain't gonna drop that yet. I'm gonna leave
Yeah,
that
I'm
one.
about to get up out of here, Garfield. But yo, man, why don't you do a bloodline debate? I never saw that before. Huh?
A bloodline debate with who?
I don't know. Anybody, son.
They
Like, yo,
want to
son.
debate, man. They run from debates. I told them the other day, I told one of them Israelites, let's debate Aaron Adair, the PhD, on if Moses exists. Oh, I don't want to do that debate. I want to do Trinity. Bruh, if Moses don't exist, right? And he said Jesus exists, that means Jesus is lying. If Abraham don't exist and Jesus said Abraham exists, Jesus has to be lying. These people, but that's a part of his whole religion. That's a part of his faith. But these people, family, they ain't no evidence that Abraham's whole oral tradition is a lie. It's a whole lie. The whole stories is a lie. T.L. Thompson, man, we trying to get an interview with him, but he's too old now, man. Too old. Too old. Oh, we from Wider. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, you gotta bring back the scholars back on here. I wonder when Chuck Morgan gonna get this expert. Yes, I'm starting.
Right here, Hebrew Israelites. Stop teaching this, man. It's in your slides. Take it out, man. Take it out. Take it out, man. Take it out. Here, right here. Right here.
Slide. They left black. The war for Israel. When he was asked about peace in the Middle East, there will never be no peace in the Middle East. It might be rain in Spain, though. The late president of Egypt, Gamal Abed Nasser, stated the Jews will never be able to be here in peace because they left here black, but they came back white. Remember what the scripture says. They take crafty counsel against my people, my hidden ones, Israel, that the name of Israel shall be no more in remembrance. Let us cut them off from being a nation. They all know. Why the hell don't they tell us? Because you don't educate a slave. Because as long as Israel's on the bottom, they can stay in rulership. Next slide.
Yo, Garfield, is that the regular Gideon that we normally talk to that's in the chat?
Yeah, man. It was a waste of
Hey,
time.
yo, pull up that video before I leave, bro. Pull up the clip, bro.
I got you. The fake Hebrew memes about Egyptian President Gamal Nasser. And for those who don't know, it's fake. I could email you the actual Time magazine and you could read it for yourself. It says they left black, the war for Israel. But ladies and gentlemen, that quote is nowhere in this article. Hebrew Israelites have a history of making shit up. Making shit up. Here you go.
Yep, just like that Hebrew shit. But we gotta get Gideon. Gideon talking too much in the chat. Hey, Gideon, man, we gotta give you a reminder, brother. We ain't forget what you said, brother. We listen to you, man. Yo, you be speaking the truth, homie. You get him, man. Put him in the blender, man.
Hold on, I got you. We'll go get him right now.
You know, Garfield can't multitask.
No, I'm doing it right now. I got it right here.
Garfield can't multitask.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
we here.
Can you hear me, huh?
Hold on, Pops.
You might be.
You trying to say that I'm so behind, we don't understand? Well, we gonna see if the people understand.
Got him. Oh! Whoa! Whoa!
Is a large group of slaves that came on a slave ship to the Western Hemisphere were Israelites. That's what I'm saying. So you might not be an Israelite. You might be whatever. I might not be an Israelite. I don't know.
Oh my God! Wow!
A large group of slaves that came on a slave ship to the Western Hemisphere were Israelites. That's what I'm saying. So you might not be an Israelite. You might be whatever. I might not be an Israelite. I don't know.
Bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
Is a large group of slaves that came on a slave ship to the Western Hemisphere were Israelites. That's what I'm saying. So you might not be an Israelite. You might be whatever. I might not be an Israelite. I don't know.
Got him!
Hey yo,
Got him.
Gideon, how we don't understand that you talking about you don't know if you a nigga brew or not? Get the fuck out of here. I ain't never letting that shit go, bro. I ain't never letting that shit go.
Yo, big up yourself, bro. Or let me put the link in the chat and pin it. So if anybody want to come on and have a topic they want to talk about. Oh man, it's crazy, man. What do you say to people who say about if they don't believe, at least if they believe, what they call Occam's razor? What do you say to those people, Rob? Rob, where you at?
Hello, Garfield. Can you hear me?
I could hear you loud and clear, brother, man.
You might not be an Israelite. I might not be an Israelite. I don't know.
But it's all just a belief, so.
Rob
Yo,
Bourne,
Garfield.
you ain't shit
Hey,
for
Garfield.
that. You don't have to keep reminding him of that. He know he said it.
Go ahead, Akani.
Yeah, man. I was just patiently waiting to just have a little dialogue with you regarding what's going on.
What's going on?
So, I don't want to go back to our other topic because I know it's just going to be a running thing again. But I want to move on to what I said within that topic and bring it up to light here.
All right, I'm going to play a video. Anybody is coming on my channel and talk about me running. Ain't nobody, bro, you have nothing to bring to the table. You can't prove, you know what, before we have a conversation, prove Abraham and Jacob existed. Before
Boy, man, this is where I wanted you to see what you put on the screen with the eponymous ancestors.
Because
Can you put that back on?
You said that I'm scared of you. So for you to correct, and this is the apology I want. The apology I want is to you to prove Abraham and Jacob are real people.
There's something wrong with the show?
Hold on.
I can't hear nothing.
Something wrong with the link. Zara is here. Who gave Zara? Oh, she a moderator here. I don't know about all of that.
Yo, Garfield was moderating everybody.
Yeah, that's Zara, man. That's my people. I'm just messing with that. What's up, Zara? Go ahead, Akane. Prove that, and then we could go on from there. Since I'm running from you.
I don't know if you're gonna like what I've got to offer to prove Jacob existed.
Go ahead. So why don't you say it instead of giving me a speech?
No, basically,
Hold on,
I wanted to talk about the
Wait. This is a British Israelite?
No, he's a Khan claiming that the Khan stuff is connected to the Israelites and all this foolishness.
Oh, you one of those? Okay.
No, you see what you put up earlier. I wanted to react to what you put up earlier with the eponymous ancestors. Can you put that back on the screen?
No, I'm not putting anything back up. Speak what you gotta speak.
Yeah, cool. So, regarding the character Jacob, yeah, is he strictly associated with the Israelites? That character, or Israel? Even the name Israel. Let me make it better because this is where I want to go into. Is the name Israel strictly associated with the Israelites?
That's a stupid question.
No, it's not, you know.
It's a stupid question. Now, prove Jacob is a real person.
Boy, man, I can demonstrate how he could be because you got to remember back in the olden days, they would use certain characters.
Listen.
They'll use mythical characters.
All this not unnecessary talking is irrelevant. I want you to prove.
I can't prove Abraham existed because we ain't got.
All right. Anyway, I'm gonna play this video of Rob. You had something to say? Waste of time.
No, I'm good, bro. I'm just listening, brother.
Yeah,
Yo, I don't think he's a Khan, bro. He from the British. He got that accent. He was born over there, man. He a British Israelism guy, bro. You gotta start calling these people what they are, man. He not repping no Khan, bro. He ain't repping Miami and all that. He ain't rocking with the Bosums and all that. He ain't doing none of that.
Oh man, yeah. This is a dialogue I had the other day on Bereed. This guy was beating me up. Check it out.
That is spiritually like Egypt.
Yes.
According to Revelation chapter 12 and verse 8. Okay, so why is it that we're saying that there is no spiritual Egypt when there really is?
Okay, what's your name, brother? Hold on one second, family. 1 second. I don't mean to take over the show. What's your name, brother?
I go by the name Azariah.
Azariah, peace and love to you, man. You said something that's amazing a while ago. You said, Garfield, if the Assyrians did take them back into Egypt, they didn't take all the 10 tribes. Do you have a record of 10 tribes going on ships into America?
Well, if you accept the Apocrypha and you read chapter 13, and I understand you disagree with what we teach, But the artifacts are there. Everything's there. The language is there. The writers, they all can attest to this.
So
that
hold on.
I'm trying to answer you. So the 10 tribes.
To have a conversation with you and beat you up on second Esdras, but let's have
I know. I'm trying to show you how the 10 tribes were taken. So
can you guys hear me? I don't know if he chipped out or I chipped out.
We can't hear you no more. You're just talking.
I hear you.
All right, let's go to some scripture real quick. I don't mean to take
hold on, Leo. If he can't hear me, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Keep going.
Okay. I wanted to address your point, Garfield. So you asked me. I know you asked me. Okay, can you show a point in history where all 10 tribes as a collective went into slavery? The only place I said Second Esdras chapter 13.
46 real quick, right?
Okay, I guess you can't hear me now.
It says, "And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever." Leo, can you hear me, Leo?
Yeah, I hear you, but I don't know if you can hear us.
I could hear you loud and clear. "And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever." In Isaiah 13, don't they prophesy that Babylon will be destroyed forever? Doesn't Damascus isn't Damascus, according to Isaiah 17, supposed to be destroyed forever? It's literature. It's not to be taken literal. It's just an embellishment made by the author to emphasize how much the area was destroyed. So when we see forever, if it's written by Moses in 1400 BC, we shouldn't take it literal. So you saying that the seed, there's some curses going over and over forever, it's just an emphasis on if you don't follow the laws. We shouldn't take it literal. The next thing is, as far as there's no 10 tribes in history been recorded of being traveling on ships that's been into the North American region. That is a lie. Secondly, we have the Japanese who were taken by the Portuguese during the same time as we were taking slaves from China, taken to Argentina on slave ships and taken with chains on them. They were chained up, just like how African Americans were chained. We have the Koreans who were chained by the Japanese also and taken on ships. We have Asians that were taken from Asia on ships to Mexico on ships in chains. So we have history of people, even in the East African trade, of being taken on ships. So being taken on ships don't make sure you say that you fulfill any prophecy. So you're living in a dreamland. And as far as Deuteronomy 28:64, let me say this real quickly before I skip to that part. "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand." Did you guys know that there were no eagles in the Levant at the time when this was being written? It's something, it's a griffin vulture. This is what it says in the Hebrew. And what happened in the Western world, they translated as eagle. So actually, the eagle is not even supposed to be in Deuteronomy 28:49. As far as 64, let me just address this last point and I'm done. It says, "And it shall," hold on there, "and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods." By the way, the earth in this context only represents the ancient Near East. It has nothing to do with America. So when they say the end of the earth, they're talking about the end of the earth as far as four corners of the earth. It's what you call an idiom. That's an Akkadian idiom that the Sumerians use to describe their land. Because you know what? Sargon was called the king of the entire world. Cyrus was called the king of the entire world, but none of them went to America. Nebuchadnezzar too. I yield, man. I'm done.
All right, great. Can you hear me, Garfield? Okay, I don't think he can hear me. So I'll just address his points to the audience. The main thing that we can't forget, he mentioned Babylon. I understand that's not literal, but even when you read Babylon, Babylon doesn't.
Anybody want to chime in before he speaks? All right, everybody good? Everybody good? Swarthy the Destroyer, you good?
Okay, like I see what you're saying, like as far as Earth and it's talking about that region, right?
But because you are just rocking with history and sources and scholarship, right? I rock with the intelligent design. So I believe concerning the supernatural, those of us that are Israelites that do fit the curses and the description of the Jews in the Bible, I do believe that it can mean us being scattered on this side too. Even though I understand you disagree with that, Garfield, and I understand the reasons why you would.
All right. Let me do this since you brought that up, which is a very good point. Let's take a look at let's look at the biblical scripture and give it the respect that it deserves, right? You're talking about the four corners. So let's take a look at the four corners and what it actually means. All right. If you look right here, Deuteronomy 28, verse 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from, you could leave your mic open, brother, among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. From one end of the earth to the other. This is hyperbolic expression, emphasizes the totality and extent of the dispersion. And your dominion extends to the ends of the earth in Daniel 4:22. This statement highlights the extensive reach of Nebuchadnezzar's rule, which was one of the largest empires of the ancient world. The phrase ends of the earth is a common biblical expression denoting vast territorial control. Let me ask you a question. When in Daniel 4 verses 22, it says, it is thou, O king, thou art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. What does it mean by to the end of the earth?
Is it referring to like what he knew as the ends of the earth as far as where he went? Is that referring to, you said that's in Daniel, so that would be Babylon, right?
Yes, sir. With Babylonian Empire. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. That's in Babylon. Okay. So when he says to the ends of the earth, read it for me one more time, please, if you could, Garfield.
It is though, O king, thou art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth.
Is that referring to what they knew as what was the end of the earth, not necessarily the whole planet, but just the particular region that they stayed in?
Exactly. That's why I said in Deuteronomy 28:64, the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. I am saying in the context of Deuteronomy 28, the writer is writing possibly between the 5th and the 7th century BC. He's writing in a context of what is the world at that time. They did not know North America. They did not know West Africa. They did not know South Africa. They didn't know Central Africa. They barely know East Africa. So I'm saying they barely know Northern Asia. They barely know those areas. So what they knew was whichever kingdom they were under, whether it's the Persian or the Babylonian. The Persian Empire was the biggest empire at the time. So if the Persian Empire limits, you could tell just by the limits where they ruled. So hold on, let me show you right here. This is the whole world or the earth at the time. Right? This is the Babylonian Empire on the screen. The Babylonian Empire is right here, the Burgundy map, right? That's where they control. The Assyrian Empire is green, dark green and regular green. That's the Assyrian Empire.
Right. That's considered the earth or the world.
Whole world, exactly. As you can see, all the way up in Europe, they're in Asia, they're in West Asia, but they're not all the way to where Northern Asia or where Russia or Siberia is, or even all over Europe. So
nowhere near the Western Hemisphere.
So that's what I'm saying. In the context, we are not included. We are not.
No, I understand you're saying that, and I understand you're saying that, right? What I'm saying is, Garfield, like, as far as my faith in the supernatural, which is not scientific or measured by science, I believe that the Israelites of this time would know contextually is talking about us being scattered around the world. Because I believe when the Bible says the oracles was given to the Jews, you have to understand, I believe that's us, right? So I disagree with, I don't believe you're an Israelite in order, right? I might say I subscribe to you being an Israelite, but I believe you're just going off, right? So on the supernatural tip, it's still referring to the people that was scattered around the earth due to various slave trades. But I agree with what you're saying. The writer wrote at that time contextually. I'm saying that's our interpretation of the Bible as Israelites in the last days, if you could understand what I'm saying.
All right. So, and by the way, let me respond to Volta real quick. Garfield would never debunk anyone white. He knows his bounds. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's move on to something else that I actually talked about. Read this. Did Cyrus rule the entire world? In the first year of Cyrus, king of Persians, it said that, thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord of Israel, the Most High Lord, has made me king of the whole world. Four corners was an idiom used in the ancient Near East. So if you look at Isaiah 11, it talks about the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Four corners of the earth was an idiom used in the ancient Near East. If you look at the king of the four corners of the world, it was all over Akkadian, Sumer. They used it, kings of the four corners, king of the four corners of the Gutian dynasty of Sumer, king of the four corners in the Akkadian Empire, king of the four corners. It's all over. Cyrus was called that. Nabonidus was called that. Tiglath-Pileser, Sargon II, they were all called that. So the whole world or earth should not be taken literally, because we see what the four corners is for them was Akkad, Larak, Uruk, and Ashkosh. So these people in the third millennium called where they were the whole world or the four corners of the earth or whatever. It's not the entire world. And I think that's what the people are taking literally, because Judah is supposed to be dispersed into the four corners of the earth. But I don't think we should take that literal. All right. One more thing that I did say that I'm going to wait for the guy to respond, and then I'm going to put it up on the screen so people can read it for themselves. All right. Let me get this video. Let's get back to the video. Akani, you ain't got no respect, man. You come on people's panel, people are running from you. You're like a little child. So that's why I don't give you no respect. But anyway, listen to the guy's response.
Mean ancient Babylon. In the scriptures, Esau, the Roman Empire, is likened to Babylon. So we can see that the Most High will use ancient names to refer to future kingdoms. So the Most High can use the word Egypt, an ancient name for empire, and apply it to a future one. So I guess since Leo's the only one that can hear me, I would have to ask Leo, can you please identify who is spiritual Egypt today?
There is no identity of that.
Now, how is it that you come to that conclusion?
So I think it's still talking to a future time period.
Okay, so okay, well, I don't want to go too far off the beaten path.
Yeah. Let's go back. Just wrap up your point. Just go ahead.
Yeah. So the point is that you can't say that Egypt in Deuteronomy 28 and 68 cannot be referring to a future kingdom, and you can't say that it's not symbolic. It's not spiritual, because there's clear evidence in the New Testament where it is spiritual. Another thing concerning the eagle, I have to look into that. You may be right on that. But what's so interesting is that in the Apocrypha, the fourth beast that Daniel, he didn't know what it was. But when he receives the vision from, when Ezra receives the vision, he likens the Roman Empire to an eagle, which is interesting. And then you also go to Obadiah, and he says that Esau is like an eagle. And it's not a coincidence that the Apocrypha says Esau is the end of the world. Daniel says there's only four empires. The final one is Rome. So the Bible is saying Rome is Esau. Esau is Rome. Rome is the eagle. What was the symbol, the emblem of the Roman Empire? An eagle. They try to put an eagle on top of the temple. So it all is pointing to a future Roman kingdom that was going to come from a far place to where people were living peaceably, and they were going to come swift like an eagle, and they were going to take them into captivity and scatter them across the whole world. You mentioned the Koreans, the Japanese. Okay, they were taken to one location. Can you show where the Portuguese took the Japanese to Russia, to Africa, to Europe, to the Americas? You can't do that. Again, we're the only ones that fit that. We were taken all over the place. We are literally scattered. The Japanese are not.
We're dealing with Egypt.
We're not dealing with the scattered earth. We're dealing with Egypt.
I know. I'm addressing his points though. I have to address every point that Garfield brought up.
Are you gonna address the griffin vulture? What the Hebrew says?
I just did.
Say eagle. It doesn't say.
I just
eagle.
did.
So you're gonna continue a lie then?
Well, no. So what I'll do is, no, I'm not going to continue a lie. But what I'll do is, we'll look at that word in the Hebrew. I don't. Let me pull it up real quick. So eagle.
What verse,
it's
what verse was it? I'm gonna pull it
Deuteronomy
up.
28. What is it? 49. I think 49 or 48. 49. Yeah.
Or not eagle. And that.
So it says right here. It says right here in the blue letter. It says eagle, vulture, griffin. So he's saying it's not eagle, but everyone else is saying it's eagle too.
It does say griffin vulture there, right?
It says eagle there too, right?
The griffin vulture was the main thing that was in the.
That's what you're saying. That's your opinion.
Because it's talking about Assyria swooping down. It's not talking about down Portuguese and America. It's talking about at that time period.
Let me ask you a question. In Obadiah.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. The griffin vulture was very popular in the Levant. The eagle.
Nobody cares, bro.
Yes, they care because that's what the verse is referring to. The griffin.
But
vulture.
why does it say eagle?
No, because that's a Western world interpretation. They did that. Bro,
that's what you're saying.
I've studied this extensively. Western world translated it because they didn't know what a griffin vulture was. So they translated it to eagle. I'm telling you, it's a griffin vulture. It has nothing to do with eagle. So
let me ask you a question. No, hold on. I got you.
No, hold on. Let me finish. That kills your Roman eagle argument.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it
because
does.
when you go through the Hebrew, now pull up that word for eagle.
I have it up. All
right, now you're gonna find the same word. You're gonna find the same word Nasser in Obadiah 1 and 4. So Esau is called a griffin too. So you can't say it's the Assyrians. Smart guy. It's in Obadiah 1 and 4. It says, though thou exalt thyself as a griffin. The same word used in Deuteronomy 28. So you're cut. You can't stop this truth, bro. You can't stop us. So Esau is like the griffin. And that's why in the Apocrypha, the Roman Empire is referred to as an eagle.
So I'm looking at the BDB. You might have that in blue letter as well. So I think BDB is in there, the Brock's Drivers Briggs. If you look at the top mention, it says griffin vulture. And it's speaking to the Assyrian Nasaru, and it connects it directly to the vulture in context to Deuteronomy 28. If you see my screen, you see the red. That's when it's speaking to the context of the word being used. So I'm just
right. So I'll yield. Right. So I'll yield. Okay. Let's just say it means griffin. Is Esau ever referred to as a griffin? Because if he's referred to as a griffin, then his whole argument is still flawed because Esau is Rome.
Okay, that's your view on it, but I mean, we can talk about that.
That's the rabbis. That's the Bible.
I mean, the rabbis. Which ones are you talking about? We're about to move to a whole nother subject now. If you're going by rabbis, you might have to watch that.
Listen, that's according to Tertullian. Tertullian says that the Rome is Edom. So you want to go against Tertullian too?
Yeah. Can you show me that source in Tertullian? Which one? What
yeah, I'll show it to you. But give me your objection to the point that Esau is referred to a griffin, the same griffin in Deuteronomy 28 and 49, where it says a nation shall come from far like a griffin.
I'm just reading the Hebrew, like you said. It
okay, so again, just address the point then. Is Esau referred to as a griffin?
I don't see that Esau mentioned here in dealing with the context of Deuteronomy 28:49.
No, I'm saying the Hebrew word. Do we see that Hebrew word? Because I don't see that Hebrew in the Bible referred to. Is Esau ever referred to as a griffin in the Bible? That's a yes or no question.
So let's go to that. And you're saying that mention is in Obadiah what?
1 and 4. And this is why Garfield needs to put the Bible down.
Yeah. 1:4.
I've got a question for you, brother, after this.
If you notice, Garfield need to put the Bible down because he had to move off of Deuteronomy 28:49. So he ran to Obadiah. We weren't talking about Obadiah and Esau. So now he wants to win a conversation. This is what happened to Israelites. So now he's speaking all this Griffin talk. Remember, the argument is about this. This is what the argument is about. Let me just show everybody who just joined the show. It's about this right here, the griffin vulture. What is Deuteronomy 28:49 referring to? What happened is, for those who don't know, eagles weren't domesticated or known too much in the Levant. What was known was the griffin vulture. What happened is, when people are translating from one language to a next, they have to find the best word in the language to use. So in the English, when they were translating the Bible, they rather put eagle instead of griffin vulture. But the truth is, it should be Nesher is referring to the griffin vulture. I ended up reading this article to him right here, this abstract right here, to deal with that, because I'm not playing with these guys. The biblical Nesher as the griffin vulture. So is Garfield wrong? Eagles were not common in the ancient Near East, but griffin vultures were. So when you look at the Hebrew Nesher, it's referring to the griffin vulture. All right. So that's what we're talking about. Not Obadiah. He wants to go to Obadiah because Obadiah mentions eagle also. So all eagles are the same and da 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 da. You know. So let's get to it.
It's the same word, and then.
Hey, can I read something while you're doing that, bro?
No, we're gonna stay on point. We're gonna stay on topic.
Griffin, we're talking about the griffin.
No, wait your turn. Wait your turn.
Since he's talking right there, the biblical Nesher is the griffin vulture. Both the biblical Nesher and a mythological griffin are known for their bald head, enormous wingspan, effortless flight, cliff nesting, nurturing, rapid descent, and group feasting on carrion. From biblical times until the industrial age, griffins have been ubiquitous in the Middle East, but absent in Northern Europe or the Americas. However, eagles commonly resided in Northern Europe, but are uncommon residents or pass-through migrants in the Middle East. Through millennia, when Northern Europeans saw translations for biblical plant and animal names, they sometimes replaced Middle Eastern meanings with recognizable Northern European ones. So the Nesher be known as the eagle to many Northern Europeans and North Americans. However, recent Hebrew-speaking ornithologists concur that the Nesher is the griffin. This distinction becomes important when gleaning nuances from biblical metaphors, clarifying kosher dietary regulations, and discerning genealogical connections of raptors. So it was not referring to an eagle, period.
That's great. We're past that.
This is from the Journal for the Study of the Old Testament, and this is actually an article May 26th of this year.
Right, but I let you have it. I yielded to that. I accepted that.
Griffin. No, you're not yielding because you're going to Obadiah to try to make a point because it.
I yielded to the fact that it could be a vulture. I yielded to the fact it could be a griffin.
It killed
Garfield. Just let me finish my point, please. At least. So I yielded to the fact that, okay, let's just say it's not a literal eagle. Let's say it's a mythological creature known as a griffin or a vulture.
It's not a
you see, you can't let me finish.
It's not a mythological
figure. You can't let me finish though. So the point is why is Esau being likened to a griffin? And I'm waiting for the verse. So he's gonna read it right now. Go ahead, read it.
No, it says, though thou shalt exalt thyself as the eagle. And then when I'm and though thou set thy nest among the stars, I guess that's literal. Hence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
So again, what is that word for eagle in the Hebrew?
It's nasuru.
Okay. Is that the same word in the Hebrew? Does it come from the same root word?
Same root
word. Is my blue letter Bible deceiving me?
No, it's not deceiving you in terms of what it's not giving you. I'm saying it has to be context. So, like example, when it's used here, like example, like I'm reading right here, Deuteronomy 28:49, it's speaking directly to a griffin, vulture, eagle. But as we scroll down, it gives more context. Even like here, it says soaring, connected it to Job 39:27. Also a simile in Proverbs 23:5, Isaiah 40:31, and Obadiah 4.
Thank you.
Associated to soaring, though.
That's fine. But the point is that when you look at Deuteronomy 28, it doesn't say, the Most High is not saying a literal griffin is going to come and get the Israelites.
But that's what the Hebrew said.
He's likening a race of people to an animal. He does that throughout the entire Bible, okay? So it's not going to be unheard of for the Lord. He doesn't liken Esau to a lion. He likens him to an eagle that will set his nest among the stars. Do they not have space stations? Do they have space stations in outer space? Yes or no?
We're off subject now. But I'm saying, like, getting back to
So the space stations is the eagles that the white man have in the sky. That's what the Bible is talking about. Yo, these guys are, they are the best, yo. They are the best.
You're saying here, you're speaking specifically to the Griffin vulture piece. And Garfield, brother, you said go to the Hebrews. I just pulled up the BDB. You have it in blue letter. You will be able to see the wordage and the context utilized. And when the word is used, it's still speaking to the Griffin vulture, comma, eagle. And then you look up the Nasarut, that's speaking to the vulture. And then if you get context and when it's used in Obadiah 4, it's speaking of this Griffin vulture soaring. And it's a simile utilized in Obadiah 4.
Okay, it's soaring.
That's what I'm trying to showcase. Yes.
Okay, that's beautiful. At the end of the day, Esau is likened to an eagle that is soaring. Yes. Oh my God, there we go. So now that we understand this, so now we have to go back to Garfield's point. He's trying to say that the nation coming from far, the nation that brought them into slavery on slave ships, that's talking about the Assyrians, when really you can't do that if you follow the text of the Bible, because there's other people likened to a griffin outside of the Assyrians. And the main person is Esau.
But I don't think it's speaking specifically on the people being the eagle, because if you go to Hosea, it's talking about a similar context and is referencing the Assyrians.
Great. And this is why I go back to the point where we can see where the Most High, he will liken Babylon to a future kingdom. We understand Babylon was a real thing, but he'll reuse these names. He'll reuse these empires to show a future empire. That's why it says spiritual Egypt and Sodom.
Yeah.
That's why it also says mystery Babylon. That's why David says, happy shall he be, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. He calls Esau, literally in the Bible, Esau is the daughter of Babylon. That's why the Targums, since we want to get scholarship here, that's why the Targums and the rabbis and the early church fathers and everybody understood Rome was Esau.
You said everybody. Okay. You just mentioned Tertullian. You still haven't dropped that source. Secondly, when you talk about the scholarship around this, even the mention of Edom being Rome, that was later. When you bring up the Targums, that's what, 2nd century AD? That's what you're saying? But then also when we also mention again, when we talk about and understanding who Rome is in reference to scripture, we know that the comparisons even made or not made, you won't see that even in the Maccabees, in which Israel made a partnership with Rome. I think that's the first Maccabees 14 and 15. So like if you're going to make that connection, that's not even seen there. And then also that's why I brought up Hosea. Hosea is directly connecting those Assyrians to enslavement, talking about Ephraim as well as Judah. So if you're going
but this is the problem, though. What you're forgetting is
we got to move. We do subjects, but go ahead.
We do have sources prior to the church fathers and prior to 70 AD, and mainly which the church which Protestants reject, which is the Apocrypha, 2nd Esdras. Okay, it's saying that Esau is the end of the world. Well, Daniel is saying the 4th beast is the end of the world. So they're both, the prophets are telling you the Roman Empire is Esau, period. Now we can move on.
Yeah, brother. I got a question. Now are you saying that no one went into slaves? No one was taken in ships as slaves before the Atlantic slave trade?
No, that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the context is God is speaking to the Israelites. And he's saying that they're going to be scattered across the 4 corners of the earth. And by the way that they're going to, and he says, and he gives a destination. The destination is Egypt.
I'm talking about Deuteronomy 28. Okay, now I just want to make it clear. So you're saying that you believe that there were people taking on slaves as ships, in ships before the Atlantic slave trade?
There's record of that in history. Yeah. A lot of people, like Garfield said, a lot of people went in slave ships. But that's not the issue, though. That's not the issue.
Okay, so you accepting that? I mean, what is to say that those people say why those people can't say that they are the Israelites then? Why?
Number one, it's because they have to be taken by Rome. They have to be taken by the eagle, which is Esau. So you would have to show Edomites grabbing a race of people and then scattering them across the whole world, which you can't. The only time in history where you can show Edomites taking a whole race of people is in the 1600s.
Yeah, I want to read something right quick. It'll be short. Okay. Now this is from Polybius, the ancient Greek historian who lived in the 2nd century BCE, and this is from his Histories, Book 1, Chapter 29, and it says in quote, "Meanwhile, the Romans had taken Aspis, had placed in it a garrison to hold in its territory, and had besides sent home to Rome to announce the events which had taken place and to ask for instructions to the future, what they were to do and what arrangements they were to make. Having done this, they made active preparations for a general advance and set about plundering the country," meaning Carthage, talking about Carthage. "They met with no opposition in this. They destroyed numerous dwelling houses of remarkable fine construction, possessed themselves of a great number of cattle, and captured more than 20,000 slaves, whom they took to their ships." Okay, in the midst of these proceedings, the messengers arrived from Rome with orders that one council was to remain with an adequate force. The other was to bring the fleet to Rome. Accordingly, Marcus was left behind with 40 ships, 15,000 infantry, and 500 cavalry, while Lucius put the crowd of captives on board, and having embarked his men, sailed along the coast of Sicily without encountering any danger and reached Rome. So it says here that they took captives from Carthage. This is referring to the Punic War from Polybius. Said they took captives from Carthage and took them to Rome. And it clearly says here that they took 20-some thousand captives in ships to Rome. This is the Punic War. So we have here Romans taking Carthaginians in ships to Rome.
Beautiful. So let me address that. So now here's the thing. This is a kind of a double-edged sword. Carthaginians, are they Israelites? That's a question to you.
Well, I would say they're Canaanites.
So they're not Israelites. So Exodus is speaking to Israelites, correct?
Oh, yes.
So then this whole argument is pointless. And then on top of that, you would have to show. Hold on.
No. I got a question for you. What were the Negroes in the Atlantic slave trade?
Wait. I just wanted to finish my point, though.
Were they Israelites?
Let me finish my first point. So, and then on top of that, the source that you showed, it says that they were taken from Carthage into where? Rome. Did it say they were taken from Carthage into Egypt? No. Okay, so try again. Go back to the drawing board and try again.
The point I was making was they were taken as slaves in ships. Okay. Now you can sit up here and say that Israelites were taken from West Africa to America, and we can disregard the fact that it's called the two lands are called West Africa and America, but you still can make them Israelites. Okay. But when it comes to Israelites being brought back into Egypt as slaves.
Quady, what's up, bro?
Brother Garfield.
How are you, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm hanging in there, man. What's going on with you?
Nothing much. I was going through YouTube and I was looking at what you're presenting about the griffin vulture.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I wanted to let you know that you're 100% correct. It's not an eagle, it's a vulture.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Look at Garfield. Let's see the panel.
Nah, Aquati's my dude, man. That's my dude, man. Hey,
We don't know him.
Yes, we do. We know Aquati. Aquati, I play his videos all the time. What are you talking about? He had a video recently with Deuteronomy 28:68, and I seen Brother Zan Lex put in the chat he wanted to talk to you. Did you ever get to talk to him about the issue, Brother Aquati?
No, not yet. I was traveling, so I just got back. So I reached out to him so that we can have a sit down.
Okay. I think everybody has their own interpretation of Deuteronomy 28:68. I don't know. I look at it two ways, and I'm looking at your video, and you make a lot of sense as far as an introduction to the Israelites as far as blessings and curses.
So what is he saying?
He's saying a lot, but he actually brought down the scripture and the meaning behind it. He has like three videos, right? Aquati, you got like 3 videos, right? I think I watched 2 of them already. But
Damn, you can't summarize it.
Nah, he probably ain't come on here to talk about that, man. So I ain't even worried about it. But Aquati, thanks for jumping on, bro. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, according to Josephus, you saying that we can disregard. You're saying that we can disregard the fact that West Africa was not Israel, okay, and America, and America was not Egypt, okay, but you're saying that, but you're still trying to make them Israelites, okay.
I don't even understand. I don't understand your argument anymore.
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is, okay, now if you can disregard, that West Africa, if you can disregard that the Negroes or the people in West Africa were not Israelites, okay, and the record doesn't call them Israelites, but you want to say that West Africa was Israel and America was Egypt, then we can disregard we can disregard the ships part and just go to Josephus and say that the Jews were brought into Egypt.
But the problem with that is we need all the lost tribes with the Jews. It's not just the 3. You can't just take Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and it's not even all the nation. First and foremost, the majority of the hold on. I'm gonna do a precision airstrike right now. So the point is that a lot of Jews, and it's documented that before 70 AD happened, they already fled into Africa. They were already gone. So there was only a remnant that stayed behind. So that doesn't even count. When the Most High is giving that covenant, he's saying, listen, all of you, your tribes, I'm going to take all of y'all into slave ships again. Josephus doesn't document that. Okay. So, another thing, hold on.
The point I'm making is, okay, the point I'm making is your claim with the Atlantic slave trade in the Bible is dealing with a different time period, 2 different people, okay, in a different language. When we deal with the Atlantic slave trade, we're dealing with the 1500s, okay? The people, white Christians and Negroes, okay? And the language, Latin and English. Okay? When it comes to the Bible, okay, we're dealing with the BCE era. The people from Israel to Egypt, the Israelites and the Egyptians, the language, the ancient Hebrew and the ancient Greek. So you're way off. You're way off. You skipped over 1,000 years of history to make up your nonsense, and you have no evidence to.
So that's the problem. That's the problem. You forget the verse. You forget.
You're way out of your league, bro.
You forgot the verse where it says, "It shall be a sign upon your children forever." So you forget that point.
Can we stay right there? Let's move point a little bit. So let's get back to Deuteronomy 20. I know that was the main point. The reason
but you follow me though, right? Am I making sense, Leo?
I hear where your position is, yes, but that's what I kind of want to deal with a little bit.
Okay. Now, is it crazy? Is it crazy for me to say that it's talking about America because the New Testament Revelation says that there's going to be a place in the future called spiritual Egypt?
Yeah, I think it's a little crazy. I think it's a little crazy because if you incorporate that into the view in which Israel will be taken to a land that's not their own, and Azareth is America, that would be contradictory.
Well, it would be, because if Egypt is symbolic, if it's a spiritual Egypt, it doesn't have to be literal Egypt in Africa, correct?
Yeah, I hear you, but you're saying if this is America, then how is it America if the land of America is Azareth based on your view, and the Northern Kingdom, some of them at least taken here?
And that's why I'm trying to tell you that when the Most High says you shall go into Egypt again, he's not saying literal. He's saying the house of bondage. That's all he's saying. But you guys keep trying to make it literal. You guys keep trying to make it literal. But the problem is what I'm trying to say is the problem is that when you keep trying to make it literal, when you keep trying to make it literal, it goes against all of history. You can't show where the 12 tribes went into Egypt again. You can't show where it was fulfilled. You're trying to, but you can't.
I mean, we can go through the history if you want to, but I'm saying like the example, like just dealing with the text that you're using. If your worldview is that the land that is not their own is America, the Northern Kingdom, based on your worldview, came to America long ago, correct? Before the transatlantic slave trade.
Yes.
So how is this the land that's not their own if the Northern Kingdom, which is Israel, it was here already?
I'm glad that you asked. So they fulfill that passage where it says a nation shall come from far. That's how they fit that. Now, it says they shall go into a place that's not their homeland. They shall not be taken back into their homeland again, the Americas. That's what happened. The Spaniards, the Portuguese, they took them all the way to Europe. And they never came back.
But the Northern Kingdom was a part of those tribes that were taken, correct? Or is it just Judah that was taken?
No, you're 100% right.
Okay, so but I'm saying based on your worldview, Azareth was a land that no man had dwelt. So whose land is that? They would be that would be their land once they got there if nobody was there.
Correct. So
if they're taken to a land that is not their own, how is it not their own if their own people was there already?
So you're saying us, the Judites, being taken to a land that's Northern Kingdom.
Yes, the Northern Kingdom was taken in the transatlantic slave trade to America, correct?
No, they were taken from Azareth to the other side of the world.
Yeah, so that's fine. But I'm saying there were Northern Kingdom people, even in the transatlantic slave trade in Africa, that were taken to America, correct? It wasn't just Judah.
Yeah, you could say that.
So that's what I'm saying. With your position, you would then have a problem if the Northern Kingdom was taken to America, and that was already the Northern Kingdom's land because no man had dwelt there. They were not taken to a strange land. Their own tribe was already there.
Well, that's why when you go through Judges, you go through the scriptures, you understand the land allotment. So if I'm a Judite and I go and I travel to the north and I reside in Mount Carmel and in the territory of Ephraim, that's not my land. I'm going to a foreign land. It's not my land. I'm not familiar with the terrain. I'm not familiar with the city. That's why even when Jesus Christ, when he resurrected and he met up with his disciples and they didn't know who he was, they said, "Art thou a stranger in Jerusalem? Did you not hear about these things?" Because he's called a stranger. He's not from the area. They thought he's not from the area. You had Jews that were back in Persia, back in Babylon. They had homes there. They were familiar with that area, right? But if you took them to Israel, to the land of Israel, they wouldn't know what to do.
I got you. I understand what you mean, but I'm just saying, like, if you just see my line of reasoning, is that if the land is Azareth and no man had dwelt there, the Northern Kingdom was taken there based on Second Ezra, and that was then a land they will have peace there, correct? Right?
Yeah, for a time.
Yes. So if that's their land and they have peace there, they will then dwell in that land. You are then saying, based on the curses, Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom were taken in the transatlantic slave trade, even those that are already there in America, but yet those that are brought to this land were then in a land that is not their own. To me, it doesn't make sense if that land was already dwelt and controlled by the Northern Kingdom, because no man had dwelt there. That is their land. That's not a strange land.
Well, no, not necessarily. It's the Northern Kingdom's land. But if I'm part of the remnant of the Northern Kingdom that was stuck in Africa, I'm not familiar with the Americas. That's not my land. It's a foreign land to me. Even though I may meet my brethren over there, It's a foreign land to me. I don't know anything. That's why when the Negroes, when we came over here, we didn't know, we couldn't run away because we didn't know how to survive over here. And vice versa. You took the Northern Kingdom, you took the Northern Kingdom to Europe. They're not familiar with the terrain there.
I hear you, but I'm saying you'll have an issue though, because like example, if you go with, I don't know if you subscribe to the 12 tribes chart. If you do, then you're admitting then that only like your people, only the Northern Kingdom was in Nazareth, and only Judah was brought to America.
Yeah, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And Northern Kingdom, there might have, but I have to be realistic because Anna, she's from the tribe of Asher, so we see a small remnant of Northern Kingdom still on the other side of the hemisphere.
So they'll meet their people then, right?
They would ultimately, but again, at that point we've been separated for thousands of years.
Oh, so thousands. Okay, I know that's over. But listen, my real reason, I'm gonna jump off after this. Sorry, Berean, but I gotta jump off. Deuteronomy 28:46. When you mentioned upon thy seed forever, forever there means olam. That means what based on your word? That means literal forever, correct?
Until the end of the age.
Okay,
so at the end of the age, that's when the Messiah returns, and then he gathers us. And then we have our new bodies, and we're no longer under the curse no more. We're ruling over our enemies.
Can I apply that consistently every time forever is utilized in at least the Torah?
You can't. It depends on the context. So if the Bible says, if the Bible says God liveth forever, you can't say that he only lives until the end of the age. Now the reason why I'm deducing in this passage an age is because of prophecy and because of the New Testament. It's clear that at some point, the Most High, through his prophets, he says, I'm going to take the curses that I put on you and I'm going to put them on your enemies. So we understand at some point that forever cannot mean forever if the other prophets are true.
Okay, so I'm glad you're saying that. So when we go to other prophets and even go to other books, there's a better term utilized to showcase eternity or true perpetualness. Because if you can go to Psalms 1:11 and 8, and it uses the term forever.
You're muted.
Yeah, is the link pinned at the top? I don't remember.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
All right, anybody want to jump on and have a conversation? I'm all yours. I'm all y'all. Y'all could have me right now. Y'all could beat me up right now. But I do want to play this video in the meantime with what name? This guy going in on Umar Johnson. I didn't even know about this video till this week. This is what's his name?
You mean Dr. Umar Johnson, the man who has 2 children by 2 different women he never married? Dr. Umar Johnson, the guy that for the last 10 years has not built brick one of a school he's collected money from. Dr. Umar, hold on, ma'am. Dr. Umar Johnson, the man who calls you queen, mother, goddess, and all this other kind of stuff. And again, for those who are keeping score, this is another woman who comes on and says, talk to us more like Umar. The Prince of Pan-Africanism. Big Papa's in the house. Run my donations. I mean, shout out to Umar. I ain't got no problem with the dude, but I think it's funny y'all keep coming over here asking everybody to talk like Umar. Queen Mother God and Cocoa Butter and sea moss gold and shit.
Why are they going in on my boy Umar, man? Umar.
Oh, you didn't see his latest video?
No, I didn't see that.
He was begging for money. You didn't see that?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm looking for a video by the hell is this guy's name? I forgot his name. What is his name? Big Papa.
You know, it's amazing. You know, it's amazing to me that we'll have all these people that supposed to know what this God thinks and wants, but neither one of them could agree. None of them can tell us what this God actually wants. Why is it always their interpretation of some random ass scripture?
My thing is why God can't speak and why people speaking for God. He's all
Right.
powerful.
Why God can't just speak for himself? Why God need y'all? Y'all doing a horrible job.
Well, you know what? People gonna always have their own opinions about gods, and that's just how they are, man. They ain't on a certain level yet. You know what I'm saying? They that's where they at. You got to meet them where they at, man. Hold on, this guy talking about what African Americans pretend to be.
Boom, since
Man,
you
you too young to drink coffee. What was the first video you saw?
well, it was the one where you debated some of these Jewish people
Yes.
who
The
were
Zionists.
Bulgarian and
All right, the Europeans.
the Europeans, and they were like, Jesus is great. I just don't know what he did. I drank coffee. I watched it. I stood out in the hot sun because the sun was necessary for the energy, and kept me focused. I listened, and it was cool. But all of a sudden, you popped up. I was like, "Wow, this guy's quick." So yeah, here I am, and it's an honor to be speaking with you. And I don't know what to share and how to start with this. So.
Well, whatever your argument is from the beginning, I don't know if you were able to hear the beginning of this lecture, but I was essentially, to summarize, saying that whether the blacks are the true Hebrews or the true Israelites, it's largely immaterial. What we have to consider is the current state of the black peoples of the earth and work intensely to improve that state. And unfortunately, we've not seen religion provide the foundation for us springboarding forward. And that's why I present this ism. And people are coming on making their religious explanations and arguments. And so I'm hearing folks out.
Cool. I would like to jump in on that with a personal experience.
Okay.
I work in a small town in Ohio, on the west end of Ohio, along I-75, area very common for the Underground Railroad. And I stumbled onto this location, and I've settled in this area, and now I live here. I'm a tech enthusiast, and I also am very interested in history. But to organize one's approach on history is very important because it's easy to get lost in it. So I work in a history department, and I'm exposed to some interesting characters. And there was one character in particular, an African American fellow who was one of the town natives, and also related to one of the town's football heroes, a black fellow who played for the Bears.
Okay.
And this cousin, he's one of the first cousins of this of this figure, this celebrity figure in sports, loves to talk about how it's important to acknowledge that we have Jewish blood in us and that we are Jews, and that's all he talks about 4 hours. And the staff and I just have to nod, acknowledge him, not shut him down or anything like that. And we learned some new stuff, but boy, is it really, really tricky to talk with him when he's just on the stream of talking. Okay, now get into detail about this. Now, Dave, this is the real name. Great guy, very smart guy. I mean, he reads stuff, eats it up, no problem. And the type of material he's reading focuses a lot on the African history of and African black-skinned history of Jews, and he has a number of books on this. And he kind of skimmed through it, talking with me about it. And I think last week I bought him a cup of coffee, and there was something about it. He was wearing his yarmulke, walking around town with me.
Black man.
Yeah, black guy.
Okay.
Wearing the yarmulke. His family warned him, don't go outside like that. You're gonna get killed. And I'm like, look, in this town, you're fine. No, they're not gonna touch you. You're good. So, We went to the coffee shop, and this is a coffee shop that's owned by the locals, all white people. A couple of generations back, old money, farming money and stuff. They started to go into the coffee business, and I know them there. So I was just like, hey, I got a free coffee ticket or whatever it is. I was like, hey, can you get him a coffee and everything like that? And then Dave, he went into this sort of like, he's like, Yahweh has been very good to me, and like he looked at me and he was like, Yahweh's been very good to me. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. Yahweh has been very, very good to you. Are you trying to show me like I'm a sign, that Yahweh has been good to you or something like that? And that's the thing that kind of threw me off about him. And that's the time when I noticed he was a little off, but he was brilliant nonetheless. I think he's a low key genius, but not a healthy genius.
Okay.
So that's kind of and that's kind of what led me to your channel and your link connected to why Black people are obsessed with being Jewish or trying to find this identity, because I think there is an identity conflict going on with African Americans, Blacks, whatever you want to call us. Hey, dark skinned people, but I think there's this quest to find our identity, materials, the stuff that's been burned, buried over, flooded, and so on. But I think in some way, this sort of Jewish path of research for our genealogical understanding has been the thing to kind of latch onto, hold on to, and try to Rubik's Cube solve, to see, hey, like we have an identity because we are in an identity crisis. And that's kind of what I kind of bottled it all down to, is like, hey, I think Black people are in an identity crisis, and a lot of cultures are. But based on what you were talking about, what your focus is right now with the link, um maybe that's a part of it. There is an identity crisis, and maybe that's why they're so obsessed with trying to find a legitimate source that connects to the Bible and so on, but the Bible being so watered down for uh I would say genetically engineered reasons, right? You genetically engineer in the mind, the rest flows. And also it's a guide, but it's a watered down guide. All of those paths all of
Right.
those paths have been kind of like chopped up, patched up, engineered, and leading into traps and stuff like that, right? I mean, we have to. I mean, to some extent, we can talk about this stuff now, thanks to AI, kind of like giving us a little bit of cover to talk about these things, because AI is kicking our asses in providing this information, and even being like, yeah, hey, you're right. It goes back to these books and even in the Bible. So now we can talk about it, saying, yeah, like, a lot of our history has been genetically engineered and re-engineered in order to misguide us, so we are led right back into the hands of the masters. So this is just some of my meditations recently, and I just want to leave that with you for you to kind of correct me, or even provide some guidance with how to work with Dave, who's kind of like in a labyrinth of the mind. But go ahead.
Well, I thank you for sharing that story. Number one, on how to work with Dave, it sounds like you're perhaps doing as best as can be done. Most people don't have a growth mindset, they have a fixed mindset, and you'll observe human beings, especially those of lesser intelligence, not suggesting that's the case with Dave, but they're essentially running on a program. You notice they are kind of running life on repeat, their thoughts, their behaviors on repeat, almost like human beings. Excuse me, not human beings, robots. Yes, robots. Yes, they're not human beings. Human beings are creative. Human beings are thoughtful. Human beings are spiritual. Human beings are able to, think of new ideas and be innovative. Most people are kind of more so on the robot side, which is unfortunate. So I don't think that you'll be able to share any light, because he sounds like he's practiced his script, and he's fairly set on that narrative, which is okay.
Yeah.
So that's number one with that most recent question. Number two, with, why do the Black Americans in particular attach to this idea of the Hebrews? Well, surely if we were not enslaved by, white Christians, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, then they wouldn't have picked the Hebrew story. The only reason they picked the Hebrew story is because they read about that story. Where did they read about it? In the Bible. Where did they get the Bible? From the Christian enslaver. So, for example, if you look at a population of Black people who were enslaved by the Arabs or the Muslims, which there are several, you can still see the remnants of this in Zanzibar and in Tanzania, which I've been to both. Zanzibar, part of Tanzania. So Zanzibar, Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, these were blacks who were enslaved by Muslim Arabs. They don't have a story of we were the Hebrews because they were never exposed to the Christian Bible in the same way that the foundational Black Americans en masse were exposed to Christianity. So what I find very consistently is that if you provide a model or a reference point, people will use it. So it's just like a power vacuum. If there's no leader, a leader will rise up. If there's no reference text, a reference text will be created and people will use it. One of the gentlemen who was on earlier, he was stating that, I said, well, what if your book is wrong? What if all your life you spent being a devout Christian and it turns out that your book was made up and it was not of God and it was edited? And what if, and he said, well, I'd feel pretty lost. Of course you would. And that's why you sought the book in the first place, because before that you were lost. And in the absence of something good, people will take what is available. They'll take something available. And so we try to provide this ism not as a replacement to religion and spirituality, but rather a complement, something that can get you centered and something that is based very much so on what is on the ground today. And most important function of religion today is it provides community, except that this community is one of vetted men and women, whereas unfortunately, I know many Afghan Muslims who drink alcohol. I know many Marathi Muslims who smoke shisha. I know many Muslim women around the world who have intercourse. I know Saudi women who wear niqab Saudi men who wear niqab to go into the homes of women to have intercourse with them, which is to say around the world, you can find people violating their religion, and there's no litmus test of who is a Christian, who isn't, who is a Muslim, who isn't. That's one of the things that I respect about the Mormons, the Jehovah's Witness, is that they'll excommunicate you if you off some BS, which means that if someone says that they're a Mormon or they say that they're Jehovah's Witness, we at least know that there's some standard. Whereas if someone says they're a Hebrew or a Christian or a Israelite or a Jew, there's really no standard and no expectation to their behavior. And most importantly, there's nowhere to hold them accountable. Like if someone says that they're a saint and you see them like being gluttonous and engaging in deviant sexual behavior, and you report that back to the organization, to whoever their executive is in their region, then we'd have a conversation like, well, is that true? And then we find out, and based on that, we're either going to try to help reform the behavior or say, hey, you're not one of us. We don't do that. And those are the standards that are lacking. And that's why it's critical for us to spread this ism, not to push back Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, or any belief, but rather to provide a foundation that is certain and reliable in a community of good people who can help reinforce your good behaviors and your good beliefs of whatever religion you may practice.
All right, enough for him. Obi, what's up? You got something on your mind?
What go on, bedroom?
Damn up on the gully side.
Yes, sir. No, I'm just checking in and listening to the conversation. I mean, it's kind of the same song and dance when you talk about belief but it's always interesting to hear the different perspectives, But I still feel like I stand on like whoever, if you're an adult and you're not, especially, if you're on your own or you're taking care of people and you're not living in the world of reality and you're still holding on to fable belief to get an understanding about life. I don't know, man, especially in these times because reality is hitting you in the face. And then on top of it, information is available at your fingertips. It's not the old days. I guess we're living in a colonized world, but our generation was not colonized. Therefore, we can seek the information, at least to find out the origin about what you're believing in. You know what I mean? If you're understand that your ancestors did not come up with this understanding of the world and the cosmos or God or this concept of the universe. It was given to you. And then where did that come from? And then when you ignore that, then you're good. I feel like, that's, to me, I've had these conversations offline, and I'm like, to me, it's kind of like mental illness, because it's kind of like just holding on to, you're not facing reality. You know what I'm saying? Just understand that, hey, there's so many religions, there's so many teachings across the world. There's no correct one. It's just beliefs that were put together for cultures, different cultures around the world, and how they understood, nature and the connection with humanity. But you just get people that are so stuck in the belief, and they don't even when you present the information, they ignore it, and then come up, and then they remix what they're supposed to even be following. You know what I'm saying? Like, people will say Jesus is like this new covenant thing, and then, it erases the old covenant. I mean, that's not the way. Even if you follow that text, I don't believe that's what it is. And when they say, it's gonna you're gonna have a new body and it's gonna be written on your heart, does that even make sense in reality? Covenant, like, if you're a moral person, if you're a decent person, you learn, you follow the morality in which, the society, that's where morality comes from. It comes from the civilization and the society that you live in. That decides the morality. Then you take, are you able to uphold that standard or not? Because different cultures got different standards of morality.
Facts.
To say that it came directly from God, that's
we know that's people's personal beliefs and so forth. Let me get into this video because I got to get out of here. I got 1 hour and 24 minutes left. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Daniel, is the book of Daniel a forgery? So this is my brother, priest. He calls himself, he was Deacon Akar, now he calls himself Priest Akar. He has his camp called Genesis. So he's playing Dan McClellan's video about Daniel being a forgery. The problem with a lot of people with Daniel is that Daniel is written so beautiful, and some of the prophecies allegedly came through, that if Daniel actually wrote this book, his prophecies came true. But let's take a look at this right now. All right, let's listen to my brother and see what he has to say.
Say Daniel is a forgery. It's Priest Akai, aka Deacon Genesis, giving all praises to our Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son. And we are back at it, y'all. It won't stop, can't stop, no diddy.
I'm not gay no more.
What we have here is we're going to take a look at some scholars. We're going to take a look at Dan McClellan. We're going to take a look at Dr. Michael Heiser. We visited in some of this other video, Dr. Richard Carrier, who may be a potential debate for me for this book of Daniel being a forgery topic. So without further ado, y'all, let's get right into it, man, because I want to put this out for the community, because if you're not able to counter this and rebut these claims, these are some strong claims, y'all. It's not easy. I'm not going to lie to you. You will leave your jaw open to get beat down.
Beat him down, beat you down. Who else wants some?
All right. So let's go.
Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. The fit for this video is Venom. Let's take a look at a video.
When was the book of Daniel written?
Well, the book gathers court tales from probably the 5th and 4th centuries BCE and combines them with some apocalyptic texts that probably originate in the 3rd and early 2nd century BCE. And the final literary layer was probably composed in the early 160s BCE. So the book of Daniel as we have it today.
Let's take a listen to that again. We need to hear that again.
With some apocalyptic texts that probably originate in the 3rd and early 2nd century BCE. And the final literary layer was probably composed in the early 160s BCE.
Now, I want you guys to hear that. They are purporting that Daniel was composed in the 160s BC. Here's a problem with that. Josephus, in his book Antiquities of the Jews, this is Book 11, chapter 8, section 5. Josephus states that, let's see if we can enlarge this a little bit more here. Okay. Bear with me, y'all. Let's go down to chapter 8. And this is something they're going to have to reject their beloved Josephus, which a lot of scholars love him. Now, when we look at Josephus, let's see if we can get this picture perfect here. Let's get the picture perfect picture. Bear with me, my beloved brothers and sisters. Okay. So again, Antiquities of the Jews, book 11, chapter 8. And look what it says here. Section 5. It's talking about Alexander. Let's get where it says Daniel directly, the book of Daniel. Okay. So in section 5, it's looking like verse 22. I got it highlighted for you guys. There we go. Take a look at this. And when the book of Daniel which showed him, you see that? So it's talking about the Jews showing Alexander the book of Daniel, where Daniel declared that the Greeks should destroy the empire of the Persians. So we have Josephus saying that Alexander the Great was shown the book of Daniel. If the book of Daniel was written in the 160s BC during the Maccabean era, then how is it being shown to Alexander in 330 BC circa? Let's drop a bomb. Let us drop a bomb.
You know, I gotta say this, right? And people gotta realize something. Let's look at what he said he read. He read Josephus Antiquities 5:22. Let's go to Josephus. Oh man, Josephus is reliable like 100 years before him and after. Josephus Antiquities 5:22. Let me see. Go to book 5. Let me see if I could find this. Well, let me go back to what he says.
Daniel, the book of Daniel, we have Josephus saying directly the book of Daniel. Okay. So in section 5, it's looking like verse 22. I got it highlighted for you guys. There we go. Take a look at this. And when the book of Daniel which showed him, you see that? So it's talking about the Jews showing Alexander the book of Daniel, where Daniel declared that the Greeks should destroy the empire of the Persians. So we have Josephus saying that Alexander the Great was shown the book of Daniel. If the book of Daniel was written in the 160s BC during the Maccabean era, then how is it being shown to Alexander in 330 BC circa? Let's drop a bomb. Let us drop a bomb. If Daniel, the book of Daniel was composed by someone in Judea, some Jew, Israelite in Judea, after the fact, then how is it being shown? According to Josephus, who is a credible source of history, primary in certain histories, how is he saying that this book was being shown to Alexander in 330 BC, some 170?
Look at the question that Rudy asks. Where Josephus get his source? So you're telling me all of academia who has read this? You see, Josephus also said that Abraham's wife Sarah was kidnapped by Nico. We got it with Josephus. I'm very careful with him because he's a Jew, but his histories prior to 100 BC is kind of sketchy. He writes some crazy stuff in the appendix. Somewhere in the appendix, he said that Nico. For those who don't know, Nico was, you had Nico 1 and Nico 2. You had two different Nicos. And he said Nico had kidnapped Abraham's wife. Abraham wasn't alive in the 7th century BC. But hey, let me go back and listen to some more of this video, man. I got to see this guy right here.
Years before, prior. You have to answer that. Now, let's keep going. Let's go back to the video. Make sure my screen is proper. All right.
So the book of Daniel as we have it today probably took its main final form in 167 to 165 BCE.
Many people assume it was long after the events it describes because it also contains detailed and accurate prophecies about future events. And of course, if you don't believe that prophecy can happen, these things must have been written later on.
But there's a methodological problem here because once you allow for the reality of prophecy in any text, you have to allow for it in all texts because there is no non-dogmatic way to...
That's not true. If there is an ancient text that doesn't claim divinity and say, I know all things from the beginning to the end, these other religious books do not have internal claims of divinity, as opposed to the Bible. The God of the Bible says, I know the end from the beginning. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen before it happens. So no other text gets to say that they have prophecies.
Determine which
predictions is not prophecies.
Which texts get to be exempt from the imposition of historical critical methodologies, and that's what it means to allow for the reality of prophecy, and which texts do not get to be exempt.
And one of the reasons given in support of this late dating of the book was that the author of the book seemed to get things wrong. For instance, in the book of Daniel, the last king of Babylon seems to be a guy called Belshazzar, but in the historical record, we know it was a guy called Nabonidus. But people don't use that argument anymore.
They don't.
You see, we have this thing called the Nabonidus cylinder. You can see it in the British Museum.
So that was discovered in 1854, and critical scholars have continued to point out that the book of Daniel is riddled with historical inaccuracies.
But they don't use Belshazzar anymore. Let me explain it, because I know some of you guys don't like listening to these Edomical scholars. The Bible says Belshazzar is ruling Babylon after Nebuchadnezzar.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean by Edomical scholars? Are you saying that a scholar because of his background? So where is the Hebrew Israelite scholars, the PhDs in the Hebrew Israelite movement that could do the research and go back and tell us what happened with Daniel? I'll wait. We got to stop playing this game about, you see, this is why Hebrew Israelism can never be trusted, because they're playing on emotions. So I trust this white man, but I don't trust this white man. I trust this Edomite. I don't trust this Edomite. And I've seen even Priest Daniela. Oh, we got some good white sources that are some rare sources, which is like pseudo sources in my eyes. And I'm like, if say for example, I wrote a book. My book is not peer reviewed. my book still has sources in it and it can be used. A lot of these sources that people use, especially in the Hebrew Israelite community, is like straight garbage. Not even their own folks, you want to say white folks, accept those information. And then what they do is they say, oh, they're trying to hide the information. You can't. This is why, let me tell you something, man. This is one of the reasons why Zion Lex was so easily debunked. Not that his sources were bad. It's just that we're trying to look for things that agree with us. I look at, say, for example, the King James debate I have with Priest Daniel. I got to read all his sources that he's ever put out. And then I got to put sources that make sense. Then I got to put out some balanced research to try to figure out how did we come to this conclusion. And the good thing about the King James debate is I know why they hold to that. But it doesn't explain, but it also has to do with what you believe. It's like with the NOI. If my elders taught something like the earth is 196,940,000 square miles, if something came out tomorrow and said 200, it's really 286, I'm going to be like, nah, Elijah Muhammad was right. That's if I'm in the NOI because I'm a part of the group. So I have to actually believe that information and hold to it. When your elders hold on to something, it's hard for you as a believer in that cult to go outside the box. So I don't expect Priest Daniel to say the elders was wrong. It won't come out of his mouth. Because when you're a part of a cult, you have to stand in line. You got to agree. So when this brother is saying about Edomite scholars, I'm kind of like taken aback, like, because he deals with scholarship, and 99.9% of the scholarship, if not even 100, are white folks. So why does it have to be the Edomite this, Edomite that? So he's trying to get emotions out of people before they get a true response. But let me hear the rest of this craziness.
But history says Nabonidus is ruling after Nebuchadnezzar. So it wasn't until the 19th century that the Nabonidus cylinder was found, and it says that Belshazzar is Nabonidus' son. Nabonidus went into exile, therefore his son by technicality is reigning. It's a simple fix. Let's continue.
It's down to the.
That's not the issue with what you call it. That is not correct. Boy, you lucky I'm not the one doing this debate. You get smoked like a mother effer. Let's look at this right here, because I've never really talked about this a lot. We know Nabonidus is on the cylinder and it's his son. That's not the issue. The issue with the whole son argument is this. Let me show you all this real quick. Who is Belshazzar's father, Nebuchadnezzar or Nabonidus? So Belshazzar, while this is Daniel chapter, I think 5 verses 2. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessel which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple. So Belshazzar is called Nebuchadnezzar's son. Now the word in Hebrew for son, and you guys could correct me, also can mean grandson. So a lot of people used to say, well, when it says son is grandson, this is not a situation. This is saying Nebuchadnezzar is his father. So that's why I brought this scripture out. Then it says, there is a man in thy kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, thy king, I say thy father, made master of the magicians. Again, talking about Belshazzar. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto him, art thou Daniel, which art out of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry? O thou king, the most God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom, a majesty, and glory, and honor. And though his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled thine heart, thou knowest all his. So we know Belshazzar is not Nebuchadnezzar's son or grandson. In fact, Nabonidus was not a part of the royal line. He was like an outsider that took over the throne. He shouldn't have been king. So that's the problem with that. So Belshazzar being the son of Nebuchadnezzar is the issue with Nebuchadnezzar. Not that easy fix that you just said, brother Deacon, Deacon Haka or Priest Haka or whatever you go by today. So that's the problem with that whole argument. That's not an easy fix. You can't fix Belshazzar being Nabonidus' son. You can't fix that. Is either he's Nebuchadnezzar's son or grandson. Why did they call him that? That means the person who is writing is not familiar that Nabonidus is actually his father.
This very day.
A fascinating archaeological discovery that tells us that although Nabonidus was the last king of Babylon, he had a son called, you've guessed it, Belshazzar. And Belshazzar acted as a kind of co-regent. And so when Daniel interprets the writing on the wall, Belshazzar doesn't make him the second highest in the kingdom, as you might expect if he was the top guy, but only the third highest. So it shows that the author seemed to know what he was on about.
So it doesn't do any such thing because the book of Daniel is still riddled with his.
But you're not at least saying that he's rectifying prior claims. Like, let's give credit to truth. The fact that Belshazzar made Daniel the third highest in the kingdom lets you know that there was somebody higher than Belshazzar in his father Nabonidus. Let's keep going.
Historical falsehoods related directly to Belshazzar. For instance, in the story of the writing on the wall, Belshazzar's dad is named as Nebuchadnezzar, but we're presenting historical evidence that Belshazzar was Nabonidus' son. There's no genetic connection between Belshazzar and Nebuchadnezzar. That is false.
Either he doesn't know near ancient culture or he is trying to deceive and mislead the people. In ancient Near Eastern culture, a father can be a great-grandfather, an ancestor, or a predecessor. There's plenty of sources that show Akkadian history, Israelite history, where someone is called somebody's father, but is not their biological father. I think 2 Kings, I believe, but Elisha calls Elijah his father. Job is called a father to the Israelites. Christ in Isaiah 9:6 is called a father to the Israelites. This is not Eliakim is called a father to the Jews. He's not their biological father. Not a punch landed, Mr. Dan.
Additionally, the whole reason the Nabonidus cylinder says Belshazzar was made co-regent was because Nabonidus ran off into the wilderness like a hippie for a bunch of years, and Belshazzar reigned in his stead. But the book of Daniel says that's what Nebuchadnezzar did. The book of Daniel also says that Belshazzar...
So he's alleging that Daniel did not say Nebuchadnezzar ran away. It says what he did for 7 years, but it does not say that he ran away for 7 years. So let's keep going.
Belshazzar lost his kingdom to Darius the Mede, who conquered.
Either Deacon Priesaka is not familiar, or you being deceptive. We got to make up our minds here. Is either you know the history or you don't know the history. Now, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, they did find Nabonidus' prayer, which aligns with the book of Daniel, but under Nebuchadnezzar. So it seems like Nebuchadnezzar is actually carrying on Nabonidus' history within the text. Again, proving that the person who is writing is not alive at that time. But Nebuchadnezzar is the most popular Babylonian king. So of course, the way how it's spelt is the way how it's coming out. Mute your mic, mute your mic, mute your mic, mute your mic. I don't know what you're trying to do. That's weird. But anyway, priests have all of this wrong. Nabonidus is the one that went away because there was a prophetess in the Babylonian culture that prophesied and said, you have to leave the kingdom. So he was the one that left, not Nebuchadnezzar. The Bible says it was Nebuchadnezzar that went away for 7 years, but it wasn't Nebuchadnezzar that went away. It was Nabonidus. This is why, again, all these errors are piling up back to back. Listen, when he talks about an ancient Near East, they call the father. No, you can't resolve that because the father is Nebuchadnezzar is shown as the father of Belshazzar bloodline in the book of Daniel. So you can't mix them up. All right. But anyway, let's move on to some more stuff.
conquered Babylon. That never happened. Babylon was conquered in
It says what he did for 7 years, but it does not say that he ran away for 7 years.
Oh, one more thing also. Nabonidus went away for 7 years to Timnah, or 10 years. He went away to Timnah to build up that area. And Belshazzar was made vice regent or co-regent only for Babylon, not for the entire kingdom, only for Babylon.
So let's keep going.
Belshazzar lost his kingdom to Darius the Mede, who conquered Babylon. That never happened. Babylon was conquered in 5 who conquered Babylon. Belshazzar lost his kingdom to Darius the Mede.
Now, this would be the best argument. I'm not going to lie. I'm with all the smoke, and I'm going to give credit where credit is due. The best argument that they have is how the Bible says Darius the Mede brought down Babylon, but history does not mention a Darius the Mede until a couple of decades after the Bible says this happened. Now, I'll give a few explanations after he gets done landing his plane.
Who conquered Babylon. That never happened. Babylon was conquered in 539 BCE by Cyrus the Great. Darius the Great, Darius the First, didn't arrive until over a decade later. There was also no Median kingdom. It was the Persians the entire time. So the book of Daniel is just riddled with historical inaccuracies, at least when we're talking about the early court tales. The story gets more historically accurate and more detailed the closer we get to the early 160s BCE, at which point the text predicts God's intervention and salvation from the Seleucid Empire, which didn't happen.
So they're saying that it was a failed prophecy because their interpretation is that somebody in the 160s wrote that, which Josephus debunks that, and we could go further, but I'm saving some for the potential debate. And he says it's a failed prophecy because they believe the end of Daniel's visions to be at the end of the Maccabean era. And you're in error, and you're in error. So I want to deal with this Darius the Mede thing. There's a few ways. A lot of ancient texts.
You know, people always try to say, Garfield, you always find the stuff that's wrong with the Bible, and this is the way how to answer it. But what if it's the truth? This is the issue, though. Darius the Mede never existed in the Persian Empire, the Achaemenid Empire, the Medes Empire, whatever. There's no such person at 539 BCE. So why did the author say, I go that route and I point out the historical problems, but I also point out the biblical problems and what Daniel is trying to do, or the writer of Daniel. The writer of Daniel read Isaiah. The writer of Daniel read Jeremiah. He's trying to correct a prophecy that didn't come through. But watch this, though. Nobody's trying to change biblical history, sis. But watch this, though. Watch this response and how I'm going to rip it apart. Watch it.
Have historical inaccuracies. That's just a fact. They're ancient texts. There's editorial work, copiers, scribes. There's so much that goes into textual criticism that you're going to find this in every ancient text. One reconciliation or way to reconcile the Darius the Mede is Darius may be another historical figure. Some scholars propose that Darius the Mede could be Gabrius, a general under Cyrus the Great. If you were asking me how strong that would be, I would say 7 out of 10, 10 being the strongest. Another one is ancient name conventions. I would say that this is a little bit stronger. The name Darius may have been used as a title rather than a personal name, such as like Pharaoh or Caesar.
Correct. I agree with you right here. Cyrus, like the name Cyrus, is not the real name of Cyrus. Cyrus is Cyrus II. Darius, Artaxerxes, or Xerxes. These are what you call regnal names or throne names. So So this is not their real name. You see this a lot in Egypt where people have the name, my name is X, Y, and Z, but when you check my real name, it's really ABC. You see that all the time. So he's correct here. The issue with Darius being Gadbara, it don't matches that. The Bible is telling you that Cyrus came over and ruled the whole world and is going to make you go back and do what? Build the temple and rebuild Jerusalem. So we know it's Cyrus that's taking over. We go to the Cyrus cylinder. We see Cyrus in the Cyrus cylinder being orchestrated by God, Marduk. We see him in the Bible, Isaiah 45, being orchestrated to take over Babylon in Isaiah 45 by Yahweh. He's called the Mashiach, the Messiah. So we see the Bible writers and the Persian or the Babylonian writers agreeing on one thing, but they don't call God the same name. One call it Yahweh, one call it Ahura Mazda. Marduk. Babylonian perspective. Now watch this now.
There is some evidence for that of some scholars who would go from that angle. Number 3, biblical consistency with historical events. He said there was no Medio Empire, but there are some sources that say it's historically accurate that the Medes and the Persians did link up. And
no, there's no accuracy to that. Only in the Bible there's something called a Medo-Persian Empire. There's nowhere else that's documented of a Medo-Persian Empire. The Persians defeated the Medes in 550 BC. The Persians defeated the Egyptians. You don't hear about no Persia-Egyptian Empire. The Persians took you over. The Persians now rule. There's no Persian Medo Empire. There's no such thing. The Medes may have had a kingdom, not an empire. There's a kingdom of area that the Medes may have control called the Medo Empire. And the Medes, and what's so important about the Medes is the Medes and Babylon was like this. They were together. They teamed up to defeat the Assyrians and the Egyptians. They were buddies. So this is why the Bible historically is so wrong and inaccurate. Because now you make the Medes seem to be enemies of Babylon when they were, that's a whole nother topic. But anyway, let's get back to this.
I would just keep it at those for now. And so you guys can do your studies and build off of those things. All right. Now let's move to Dr. Michael Heiser. He's going to give us some more reasons why scholars say that the book of Daniel is a forgery, even though Dr. Michael Heiser, which I would say is a very prestigious and esteemed scholar of his time, the late Dr. Michael Heiser, he says that Daniel is not a forgery and it is taking place and composed in the 6th century as it claims to be. So let's take a listen.
The 167, 164 BC, let's just say 2nd century BC date for Daniel. That is the dominant view. Most people who hold that view, it's fair to say, would be, theologically liberal. And when I use the L word there, I'm referring to people who would not put any stock in something like predictive prophecy. There are evangelicals who do put stock in predictive prophecy that take the late view, again, the 2nd century BC view. My personal position is I don't really care, and I'll try to unravel why, and then tell the questioner sort of where I'm at. Broadly speaking, I don't really care because the events of the book, okay, when you read the book, the events of the book as the book is written are situated in the 6th century BC, and nobody doubts that. I mean, that's the setting of the book. But that doesn't mean that that's when the book was written. They're two entirely different things. It's like on one level, everybody sort of recognizes and agrees on the setting of the book. What they don't agree on, obviously, is when the thing was written. So you have an early date, 6th century BC, and that's sort of the traditional debate, or excuse me, traditional date, what people would refer to pejoratively as the pre-critical, date. Like anybody who accepts the 6th century date for the date that it was written, can't be thinking critically. Well, that's just ridiculous, because there are lots of scholars who do, who take the 6th century date as the date of writing, and then there are other scholars who take the later date, 2nd century BC. Now, this whole debate really focuses on several things. It's not just about predictive prophecy. If you're theologically liberal, you're going to naturally be biased against that, and so you're going to pretty much gravitate toward the late date anyway. But
if you don't believe in prophecy, but still believe in the Bible is oxymoronic crazy to me. I don't understand it.
There are other things going on. There are linguistic issues in the book. For instance, in the Aramaic of the book, you will get features, either vocabulary, grammatical points, syntactical points, that are typical of late Aramaic, later Aramaic than Imperial Aramaic. Imperial Aramaic would be the period in which the book is set. So you would think if the book was written in that period, in the period in which the events are set, that the
12 tribes, if you're not willing to come on stage, don't talk about me in the chat. Leave it alone, because you're not making any sense. You're not making any sense. And I'm going to leave it there. All right, I got 50 more minutes and I'm out of here.
Aramaic used would conform to Imperial Aramaic that is known from lots of other material outside the Aramaic portions of the Bible.
How does the book of Daniel have later Aramaic and earlier Aramaic? So if you say, oh, it's got to be 6th century because it has Imperial Aramaic, but even within the ancient text, you'll see earlier Aramaic or 2nd century Aramaic. So that ends up being a stalemate, not a good argument for both parties.
But that isn't always the case, and in fact, in some cases, it's clearly not. You have late Aramaic features in the book, and so the question arises: well, how did they get there? Does that mean that the book was written later? Because if it was written later, somebody could very easily use Old Aramaic because that existed already. You would just sort of look up how to your vocab choice. How would an Old Aramaic writer put this, and then you put that into your book, and it makes it look
and that's called pseudepigraphy. Meaning you're writing falsely under a person that you're not. You're saying that you're this person and you're writing this, but it's not you.
authentic in terms of if you were trying, again, to convince someone it was written during a certain period, this is what you would do to give it that flavor. So the style would actually match the events of the book. It's not. I'm not talking about a deception here. I'm talking about technique when you're writing, again, to just give it that older flavor. Is that the way we account for the differences? Well, who knows? You can go either way. There are whole books, there are whole monographs written on the Aramaic of Daniel, comparing the Aramaic of Daniel with Aramaic of other period producers in the book. So there are ways to explain late features if you think the book was written early. There are ways to explain early features if you think the book was written late. So it has really gone nowhere. For someone who's interested in this, probably John Collins, this a little bit, Delbert Hillers in the Anchor, I think it's in the.
But here goes the most important argument. Not the most, but one of the most important arguments that scholars will make. So you guys listen up.
Johns Hopkins actually wrote a good bit in defense of the Aramaic of the book being situatable in the early date. So I don't know that he actually took the early date, but he has a lot of good work there showing that, hey, the Aramaic itself doesn't invalidate the idea of an early composition. So, and you get defenses on both sides, but in my judgment, the whole thing's a stalemate. Another issue is apocalyptic genre. Now, this one to me is actually more substantive than the Aramaic, the linguistic issues. Apocalyptic literature is a known genre and a widely known genre. Now, try to follow what I'm going to say here, because I'm going to try to say this well. If I may goof it up, who knows? We're just winging it here. But apocalyptic genre has to do with, as you would think, as you would suspect, the end times, the end of the world, the end of all things. Okay, within that kind of literature in the ancient world, there are certain features of it, like divine messengers, where angels come and they give someone information about the future. Typically, this angelic message is going to talk about human history being divided into periods, okay, specific periods.
So just to break it down in poor folks' terms, scholars are arguing that Daniel was composed in the 2nd century around 160 BC because it has apocalyptic language, which is only a genre of writing that came out during the 2nd century. But that's not true. As Dr. Michael Heiser says, that there is apocalyptic literature from ancient Mesopotamia. And how would Daniel have access to that, because Daniel 1 says they were learned in all the wisdom of Babylon. So they would have access to their libraries, to their literature. All right. So we'll put a pin in it there. I'll save some for this potential debate on if Daniel is a forgery or not, y'all. We on to the next, giving all praises to the Most High and Shalom.
Yeah, a lot of things with the book of Daniel, in that you see Greek literature and the same type of 4 beasts, 4 kingdom stuff. You see it in literature that's being circulated at the time. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. Also with that Josephus stuff, most scholars believe it's apocryphal or it's fictional, that Josephus made it up. You know, Alexander the Great, go read, hey, he's prophesied there's a Greek king that's going to defeat a Persian king. Like, y'all get out of here, man. Get out of here. Get out of here with that craziness, bro. Hold on, let me see. Priest Josephus, come on. Yeah, but that's a good one though. I like that. That's a good point by the dude. All right, let me see. Anything else anybody else want to talk about before I get out of here? Y'all could jump on the link. Obi, Mika, any topic y'all got on your minds? Let me put the book down. What would convince you that King James is black?
DNA.
Why would DNA do that? I don't get that.
It would tell you where his family came from.
His DNA got R1B, as far as what I know.
His family, you can look at his kin going back.
You just saying that he was black?
No,
like he was African. He was African.
I don't think DNA gonna tell you that. I wouldn't go that route. I think Priest has a good argument. He has a good argument.
And what do we mean by black? Are we talking about the American, the 1 drop percentage rule?
I like that question. I like that. Great question. Great question.
I mean, that's because a lot of people are gonna be black then.
Facts.
Hey, but Garfield, let me ask you something. Have you ever challenged any like Christians about that whole, that new covenant? About did Jesus mean that Christians should not follow the old law, or is it wiped away because of the sacrifice of Jesus according to the scripture? Have you ever challenged any Christians about that?
Not really. I know Mika just want to see debates. That's all she want to see. Debates.
Yeah, debates is fun, entertaining, educational.
Structured debates. You're gonna see two haymakers battling between me and Priest. I mean, I don't know which direction is he gonna come. I don't know what he's gonna pull out. I mean, these are surprise debates, so he doesn't have an idea what I'm gonna pull out. But with all due respect, I'm gonna give him all my sources like a week before, so he could look at all my sources. And I don't know if he's gonna do the same, but who cares? All I'm going to do is just put out information, and because remember, he's considered to be a European, an average white guy. He's trying to overturn what the consensus is about King James, which everybody is saying he's a white guy. So he's coming out to say, "Hey, no, he's a black guy. He's a black guy." So, hey, an extraordinary claim need extraordinary evidence. I mean, he does have some good images, I must add. Yeah, some good.
So he has images Because I remember you showed me some stuff before. He's got stuff outside of that.
I don't remember what I showed you, but let's leave it as it is, man.
But the ones that you showed, you were saying that they were fake, but people believe are claiming them to be real. So I don't know, saying that.
Yeah, the ones I showed you, he said they were fake. So I was just following what his orders. These guys are the top dogs when it comes to King James. This is a doctrine shifter, meaning that for him to accept this, I have to bring evidence to actually supersede his information and put him in a situation where he has to just basically accept what I'm saying. And that's what I plan to do. I don't plan to do anything else.
Well,
Yeah.
as long as y'all are using like the scholarly literature, like you're not using Bible stuff. I mean, the best,
there's no Bible to talk about with that book, with that debate. It's really about information.
Okay.
Father, his children, his grandchildren.
Mhm.
There's enough information to draw a conclusion. So if he feels that's what it is, that's what it is. So
You still got them picture from England?
But isn't there?
I got everything, man. I don't even need those, to be honest. I don't even need them to make my case. Because remember, the case of King James being black is something that he's claiming, and he's the guy that has to make he's making an extraordinary claim. So basically, he got to get extraordinary answers.
But you heard some of his stance before.
I'm gonna have to rewatch a lot of his stances because I want to be careful. I don't want to underestimate what he's bringing. So I'm gonna watch what he's watching, what he's saying, and see what I could come up with. You know what I'm saying?
Because I think one of the points of that argument that I've heard before is I want to say they try to link his lineage to someone in the Bible. Is that not true? That's one of the arguments.
Yeah, they're trying to link him to Judah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. You don't think he's gonna try to go to the Bible to try to?
That don't prove he's black or white.
It don't prove. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's gonna pull the pictures out and he's gonna show these images and say, "Hey, this is his such and such. This is his great grandfather. This is such and such."
Yeah, because King James ain't in the Bible. He just
No. Yeah, not King James, but I've heard someone try to make the argument. And they came up with some type of theory saying that this is connected to someone from the Bible. That's what. That because how people try to say, this person may not have been a real person, but this person is a real person in history, and then they try to
Jesus.
Yeah, even the Jesus of Nazareth is a historical. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it was somebody named Jesus, but the walking on the water and this all that other stuff, nah.
Nah.
So you're not historical.
You're not gonna get a real historical account of Jesus performing those things from someone who was real. There probably was people. Yeah, like you said, there was probably someone who was a rabbi or a teacher named Jesus, and or there were probably multiple people like that. But that Jesus of Nazareth from the Bible doing all those miracles, nah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I hear you, brother Law, but it's okay. You could speak over here. It's safe. We're not gonna jump you or beat you up for anything you say. So if you got something on your chest, you say it. I mean, we adults, we know how to converse. So don't be scared. Say what's on your mind.
Shoot, the Igbo Jews say somehow Eri ended up in Africa. And then his son or his grandson ended up way in West Africa. And they, that's how they do they link their lineage to, the Bible, but there's no historical record of that.
But they don't go by historical records. These people go by their emotions.
Exactly. There you go. That's true. They feel like they are the chosen people, therefore they are. And then since there's something, some literature that says some kind of story like that, just link yourself to it.
I like this picture of King James right here. I love this picture. This is the proof that he's black. I love this picture right here. Right here. I love this picture. This picture of King James right here. I love this picture. If y'all say he ain't black, I don't know. Y'all are haters.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah,
that's printing.
this the one. Yeah, that's one of the ones. That's one of the ones.
Now imagine if he was really black and they used that kind of printing to do it. It would be like darker, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Trying to fake the funk, man. You see that mustache? That straight mustache. That's African American right there all day.
Now I wouldn't go on. I wouldn't too much go on here because they do have dark skinned people that have straight hair. So I wouldn't go on the hair thing. But we know that he is European.
Mika, King James supposed to have waves, 360. That hair would have been wavy. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all looking for a certain type of black person that have a certain type of hair texture or thing. But we know
that don't look like the nose. That don't look like that.
Yeah,
nose.
even the nose is a giveaway. Like, yo.
I know I got cousins that look like him. Remember, I got Ashkenazi Jew DNA, so you know what I'm saying? So hey, it is.
Hey, but do they you say you got cousins that look like that, but do they consider themselves black?
Yeah.
Okay. So in everyday life they consider themselves black. Well.
Yep. Yo, this is a beautiful right here. Oh man, this is beautiful.
And the easiest. Yeah, I'm guessing the easiest thing that could get them is the time and what other black people was doing. Come on, that's the easiest thing.
Nah, because I say some people be code switching. That's what I'm
What
saying.
You mean?
Like, hey, sometimes they might be, when you talk about biracial, sometimes they might, kind of be to the darker side. And then sometimes they can kind of be to the lighter side, depending on the environment that they are.
Oh, you talking about relationships?
I guess that's the term. That might be the term for it, yeah. But you know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, I think because there is, if you look like them, you could get away with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Drake does it.
Yeah, but you could try.
No, I think he
switched.
does.
He got a time when he'll probably switch, but he got kind of the genes you could see.
Yeah, but he's black, but he's Jewish also.
Oh, that part, yeah.
You
And
get what I'm
his
saying?
mother, right? His mother, and they go by the woman.
Mm-hmm. He's Jewish. Like, he lives the culture of a Jewish person. I mean, I don't know how, what you call it, I don't know how he's devout in it, but he practices the culture. He have, the bar mitzvah and all that stuff.
Oh, it was another girl. I forgot. She was a black female, and she's a Jewess too. What is her name? She's an actor, a comedian.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The one that did the show with Kevin Hart. I know who you're talking.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she
supposed to be-
converted. She converted. She
She
converted.
converted. How she became one? I don't understand. You
She
know how?
converted. She converted.
I
She said
mean,
she converted.
but by who? I mean, like, how did that happen?
I have no idea.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg's always been a converted Jew. That's why she got her
Uh-huh.
breakthrough, man. Carol Johnson, that's her real name.
Yeah. They said she did it because like to get acting jobs, but
She had
she
three
said
by a black female artist. Burglar, Fatal Beauty, which is a classic. I could watch me some Fatal Beauty right now. That was a classic. Shout out to Whoopi Goldberg, man, because she was not the best looking woman, but she played her roles and she could act.
Oh boy, stereotyping it.
hey, young Whoopi looks nice.
She's not. No, she don't, bro. She was
No,
never,
but that's your opinion, Garfield. Keep your opinion to yourself.
Nika,
That's your opinion.
You think
Hey,
she's
young Whoopi with the short dread.
Hey, this is King James right here. You can't say this ain't the brother from around the way, right here. You can't say this ain't the brother from around
he
the
look cool. Look at how he have his hat to the side.
You got James Brown perm. You got the James Brown perm and everything.
What?
That look like Scottie Pippen.
Oh, Tiffany didn't convert. Okay.
See, I gotta go look it up again because I remember. Was it one of her parents? I forgot how that go.
This brother straight out of Harlem, right here on the screen.
She took on the name, but she claims that she's Jewish.
Oh, her father is Israel. He's saying.
Nah, that's not true. I don't think that's true.
I gotta. We got easy.
No, she changed her name.
Garfield, search it up.
But if you ask her, remember when they tried to accuse her of being anti-Semitic? Remember that?
Whoopi?
Yeah, like recently. She made some comments, I guess, on her show, and then they tried to say that she was but then she said, "I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm Jewish."
Stop right there. I'm gonna get out of here. We've been on for more than 4 hours. I want to say peace and love to everybody. Enjoy the show next week. I gotta add a picture to this one. I don't know what I'm gonna call this show, but
I thought you said you were gonna talk something about Tazoriak. About what?
You know what? That was the last show. I was gonna get into one of the debates he had. I was gonna play a couple of it, but that's the last show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I gotta I'm gonna get out of here, family. Peace and love. I still have a channel. I could have been shut down for good for 9 months or 6 months, but I got lucky so far. I actually deleted that show. I don't know, with that name, man. I tell you, man, them people come for you, boy. I tell you.
Wait, what happened,
I don't know that.
I've been out the loop. Like I was dealing with some family stuff. So
No, my show today about America being the puppet for Israel, and I was playing a video, and I got a copyright strike while I was live. Your channel could shut down for that.
Oh.
Yeah. Shout out to Priest, man, and shout out to Tazariak. Shout out to them brothers. They're gonna get beat up eventually, but it is what it is. And you know what? For what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a Priest Daniela versus Garfield, like 8 weeks of that to lead up to the debate, because I really want this debate to be popping. All right, I'm gonna actually run some ads on Facebook, on YouTube. It's gonna be a free debate. It should have been a pay-per-view, but it's gonna be a free debate. I actually got to go to Scotland, in the Black History Month in England. I'm gonna go in October or early November, because I got to get this primary from Scotland. And I can't go there by myself. I got to go there with like 8 or 10 people. I can't go to Scotland by myself. I can't do that.
I may come.
I need 8 Negroes. 8 Negroes. Negro brothers to rock with me, man.
Listen, I got some Scottish in me. I'm just saying.
What month is that?
She's so cute. In October.
Okay, in October.
Yeah. All right, family, I'm out of here. Thank you again. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a part of my life today. I see me in my what is this color? Peach? Is this peach? Is this peach? Mika, you're a woman. You're into colors. My name is Scottish.
Yeah.
Reed is Scottish, right? The first Reed actually came to Jamaica, I think, 1630. You know, when I was doing my father's genealogy and ancestry and all that stuff, I found that out. Yeah, a lot of the names are Scottish, Irish, Irish names.
Yeah, the Jamaicans. Can you remember?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they came over there and mixed.
Yep.
Well, according to Priest Daniela, Cromwell shipped 30,000 black Irish, so they are black, and that's where we get the Irish name from.
No, I found out how they got the black Irish. It's because they was lower class. That's why they called them
Not
the
because
black
of their
Irish.
skin tone.
No, it's a class thing.
It's class. Yeah, I'm Irish.
Yeah.
I got that Irish.
You did have it on your timeline. That's one of the reasons. That's not all the reasons, but that's one of the reasons. Another reason is I won't get into that. We leave that alone. But Scotland and Ireland are two cultures we never grew up in and we never studied them. So for me to say black Irish mean black people, that would be a leap based off the evidence. And I got white families who I know who is black Irish straight up today. So black Irish families in Jamaica right now who I know, my neighbors was black Irish and they were white. So
I got it in mind.
I grew up in Cassia, Jamaica. That name Cassia, which is a cashew nut, might even actually come from Ireland or Scotland. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But that's
you know Montserrat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my people from. That's where my mom from.
So she said the black Irish was black?
No, they're not black. It's just that their complexion. All right, just say you know how white people in the sun they they kind of burn and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not gonna burn. They just kind of darken up. You know, they kind of red. They kind of darken up. That's it's not really that they're black like they from Africa.
Like Sean Connery. Sean Connery is considered a black Irish. Sean Connery. Catherine Zeta-Jones. That's another one that's considered black Irish. You know what? I do have some information, scholarship saying that Spanish Armada stuff is like total BS, yo. Total BS. But anyway, we talk about that next week, and later this week I'm gonna do a show or whatever. I need to start popping on YouTube again. I got a couple.
Yeah, do more shows.
Gotta do more shows because I know a lot of people gotta wait a whole week to hear Garfield again and all that stuff. And Hebrew Israelites, y'all gonna live that lie as long as y'all want. Because as long as it's beneficial to y'all, like I can never see Captain Tazarek saying I'm no longer a Hebrew Israelite. I could never see that.
Nah, that's not gonna happen.
It's too beneficial for him.
Mm-hmm. He would lose everything. Sudden. He would lose everything.
Yep. All right. Later, family. Peace and love. We out of here.
Yes, fine. Big up on us.
Peace. Before I go, let me play my theme music real quickly. My theme music is.
This is what we're gonna do. Speak the truth. You need to understand this. Straight shot, no, I can't miss. Are you just talking? Never, I do this here often. One of the biggest mistakes you ever can make is disrespecting the greatness. You may have never heard it before. This is what we're gonna do. Speak the truth. Speak the truth. You need to understand this. Straight shot, no, I can't miss. Are you just talking? Never, I do this here often. One of the biggest mistakes you ever can make is disrespecting the greatness. You may have never heard this before. One more for the playlist. Tell them what it do. Cool. Thanks. Kudos. Real talk, not for the pseudos. Trust the kid. Real talk, I debunked the myth. Sit still. Don't run from this. That's a wise man told me. Watch for the fakes and the phonies. You gotta be cautious. Listen and open your conscience. People be talking that nonsense. Chattering, that's when the daggers are stopping. Okay. This is what we gonna do. Speak the truth. Speak the truth. People need to understand this. Straight shot, no, I can't miss. Are you just talking? Ever, I do this here often. One of the biggest mistakes you ever could. can make is disrespecting the greatness. You mean I've never heard this before? One more for the playlist, tell them what to do. This is what we're gonna do. Speak the truth, speak the truth. People need to understand this. Straight shot, no I can't miss. Are you just talking? Never, I do this here often. One of the biggest mistakes you ever can make is disrespecting the greatness. You mean I've never heard this before? One more for the playlist, tell them what to do.
Hey, also let me give a shout out to Clubhouse. We got Sister Zara over there. We got Sister Hurricane. We got Sister who I can remember. Mama Steph. I got brother Yoshi. Big up to Yoshi. I got Trilla, Dre, Keith, Manny, Grand Rising. Shout out to all them brothers, man. Peace and love. Sister Risa. Let me not forget Sister Risa. Sister Karak. Sister they got a bunch of people over there, man. But we're gonna keep doing our thing. We're gonna build over there, build everywhere. We're building everywhere. Peace. I am your brother Garfield. I am.